And we're live. Kev, we were inside before we came out to make this recording, and we were having a couple of coffees in our newly styled Off the Lead merchandise
Very
mugs.
fashionable. Every home should have one. They're gorgeous.
But we were chatting before we got started anyway, and you mentioned the similarities between Bandwagon TV and my podcast. But we said
Yeah.
we said we wouldn't get into it until we came out here. So Bandwagon TV, what was or is
Yeah, I
that?
suppose it's kind of before the major podcast thing kicked off, really. You know, that kind of way. Bandwagon TV was all about promoting new up and coming artists, giving them exposure. We started off with a podcast, something similar. It grew into a video thing. Then it just kind of grew legs from there, you know. It turned out to be quite successful. Things went for, I think, 3 or 4 good years right before we kind of, it was part of another business I had as well, you see, so things happened with other businesses. We end up neglecting the bandwagon, really. Actually, in hindsight, looking back, and it was probably the best thing of the whole lot of the businesses we had, and we let it kind of go too easily. But yeah, no, podcasting thing was cool back then.
And sorry to cut across you, but I don't know anything about it really, other than I've seen a couple of clips of it on YouTube. Was it exclusively on YouTube or?
No, we had a website too. It was all about directing traffic to the website and YouTube, through YouTube, really, you know.
Yeah.
Basically what it was, we started off, we were running our own gigs. Myself and another fella called, I have to give him credit, Sean Mulligan. He was a great worker. I couldn't have done it all on my own, and I would never claim to have done it on my own. You know that you have to give props where props are due.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was hard work. We thought it was going to be a way of promoting our other businesses, say the music events. We were doing artist management, consultation, helping young artists get established in the music industry properly. So a lot of young artists were up and coming, and they were kind of getting rolled, basically. They weren't getting paid enough money.
By who, say?
By, say, venues. They were basically giving songs away free to different things, say films, TV things, stuff like that. Writing, giving away songs they were writing. They weren't actually necessarily recording artists. Just lots of that goes on. The people don't realize it's actually a horrible business. Lots of corruption and lots of just people being neglected and just yeah, it's just a horrible business. That side of things people don't really see till you're in it, you know, that kind of way.
And is that business, or is that just innocent? Not innocent might be the wrong word, but naive people in any business.
There's naive people and there's musicians.
I did this now. I could talk endlessly about this. Endlessly.
Yeah,
Because
so
we both know masterful musicians. We
Yeah,
really do.
yeah, we
Like
do.
droves.
Lucky
of
to
the
know
cunts.
them.
Very lucky to know
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
But the one thing that they all have in common is they couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery.
no.
Well, a piss up in a brewery they probably could
If you
organise.
get them to the brewery, they'll have a great time, you
Yeah,
know. It's
yeah.
trying to organise them getting them there, you know. A lot of them are very laxy-daisy. Obviously, musicians lead a different kind of lifestyle. Some of them stay up all night, sleep all day.
Yeah.
They don't keep a schedule because they just write music when music comes to them. You know the way musos are, you know. So yeah, a lot of them, when it comes to kind of putting a plan in action, so they make an album, they go through the whole process. You don't interfere with that.
Yeah.
You let them make their album. They do what they have to do. Then they come to you, I want to do a tour, and they just think they're going to turn up and there's a tour waiting for them. There's gigs there, people know who they are. No one knows who you are yet, you know. You have to start from the bottom, work your way up. And there's no point doing a tour. A lot of them do stuff for free, so they make an album and they fucking put every song up for free. That used to drive me mad. Now this was at a time before free music. Now it's a whole lot. This could change weekly, this conversation, but at the time it was before everyone was giving away their music for free. They're just handing it out on the internet, and then they're making an album expecting people to buy the album. But sure, they're not putting the 12 songs of the album up on everything for free before that. So why would people go and try and buy the album, like, you know?
Yeah.
So there was lots of ways we just tried to steer them in the right direction. Like you might put a couple of songs up for free, and then you'd have to obviously buy the album to get the rest of the songs. Little things, and there's ways of doing that too. It's not that simple. It sounds simple, but it's not. And obviously getting your music to radio. So then that'll get people to your gigs, and then you can start making money, you know. But a lot of them are touring for free, going to play free gigs everywhere. They were spending a lot of their own money, which is like you do. You have to set up any business, but
Yeah.
they were turning up there. They already haven't got a shilling, you know. They're turning up, doing the gigs, not getting any money, going back, and then the whole thing fizzles out within 6 to 8 weeks. So they've no money left. So,
Yeah.
like, to be honest, through the Bandwagon TV, I met. Now this is once a month we used to record. I suppose I might tell you a story about the Bandwagon, actually.
Go for it, yeah. Jeez,
Yeah.
by all means.
So we came up with this idea. We were doing promotions. Sean was involved in the backroom sessions in Navan. It would have been a well-known music venue in Navan every Friday.
The Lantern.
The Lantern, yeah, in the back of the Lantern. Sean set that up, and basically giving local singer-songwriters that place to come play their own music, you know, and you done other nights too, but it was somewhere where they could go and kind of start learning their craft, you know. You have to hand it to Sean for that. It was a great thing to do, but I was getting into more the promotion end of things. That was kind of Sean's baby, and then we got together and we were promoting our own gigs and doing things, and from that then we started doing our own little bits and pieces of promotion on social media, YouTube and stuff, and then we started working with some of the local acts, just helping them and advising them, getting them gigs, because we were a venue. All venues talk to each other, so we were able to ring other venues and say, look, we have a really good band here from Navan, will you take them down and wherever? It could be any part of the country, you know. So they'd say, yeah, but we'll send one up to you.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked, you know. So we were able to get the local lads out travelling. They were sending us acts that people wouldn't have seen in Navan before, and like, it was great, like, you know. But the bandwagon, then we were talking, what we're going to do. We're going to do this podcast, we're going to promote this music, we're going to give people exposure. It'll be a video then they can put on their Facebook page, or at the time I think it was Bandcamp was the big thing at the time, and no one had any videos, you know. It was obviously just expensive, or just Anthony had was Mickey Mouse. So we wanted a professional video where they could showcase their song, talk about their music, talk about themselves a bit too, and just start the ball rolling that kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
So we were looking at different things. We looked at abandoned houses, we were looking for a cool studio, we were looking for this, that and the other, but it happened all around the time when the recession was hitting. So I was lucky enough, I had the carpentry company going, and I had this other business going on the side. It was called Profile Music Group, we were called. And I suppose when things got bad, I was looking at my options, and I thought, right, Profile's still doing gigs, we're making money, we're running events, there's a bit more there. So I finished up doing what I was doing and put all my time and effort into Profile, you know. So it was grand to have that. So when I jumped ship full time, I was just saying to Sean, we need to really push this boat out a bit further, see how far we can take it, you know. So I was doing temporary work. This is another story. We're going to go down a rabbit hole here.
Well, that's the nature of the fucking show, man.
So I don't know. Some people know, some people don't. I was doing another job at the time, just to make money. Like, my business had folded, under pressure for money, paying bills. You know yourself. So I took this job through someone I knew.
And sorry to cut across you again, but the business that folded was a carpentry business.
It was a carpentry and building company and a log home company. Yeah.
Yes. So
we can come back to that later.
Yeah, but that was your trade, kind of starting out.
Yeah, I am a carpenter by trade.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
And how, again, just to kind of get it from kind of start to finish, how did you go from being a carpenter to have anything remotely to do with like music venues or?
Yeah, it's a funny one that actually. Right, so carpentry was my bread and butter. I served my time actually with a fella across the road from you here, Donald McKeever.
Yeah, no, Donald, yeah.
Great man, legend. Loved the man to death, really, to be honest.
Top guy. Yeah, trained me in under 16 football or something.
Oh, right,
yeah, great lads.
Yeah, Donald was a great man, and his whole family, like, you come be a nicer family.
Yeah.
Like the sons, Ray Gordon, Darren, like, they were great group of lads.
Yeah,
to work
salt
with.
of the earth, yeah.
So, great time learning my craft there, like, you know, couldn't have anyone better, and then just the crack we had together was great. So went from there. Anyone that worked with Donald, most of us all went on to be successful on their own. So that says a lot about Donald, you know.
Yeah, very much so.
So yeah, it's just would give Donald a little shout out there, you know. And
Props
also,
to Donald.
Yeah, also the rest of the lads are great lads. But yeah, I left that anyway when I think it was about 22. I started with Donald about 15, 16. And I just went out on my own. Lucky enough, things were booming. You know, we know the Celtic Tiger was roaring, as they say.
Yeah. What year are we talking?
Jeez, what year was that? That is a good question.
Early 2000s?
Yeah, pretty
Right,
much,
okay.
yeah. So, at the time, so carpenters were on 1,200 quid a week, like, you know.
Yeah.
It was great, like, but I got a few contracts on my own, just through people I knew. That took off. Got loads more work, got in with different contractors, started doing a lot of my own work. Hired a couple of lads, got into timber frame erecting, for some major companies in Ireland. Was working away, grand, going great for 2 years. Then I met up with another company, a fella from Dundalk. I won't name names or any of that crack now, but yeah, I met a lad from Dundalk, a much older lad than me. He would have been, I was in my early 20s, he was in his 40s, you know. And I actually contracted work off him, and we got on really well, you know. But he had some ideas, and there's a difference between just working and doing carpentry and building, and then there's kind of the business side of things, you know. I was always interested in business. My father had his own business. I was around people that were businessmen all the time, and
Yeah.
I was always kind of looking to see where can I take my business. So when I met this fella anyway, and we decided after a few conversations, he had ideas, but he didn't really know how to do them, you know. And then I had loads of other ideas. So basically we decided to join forces after about, I'd say it was nearly 8 months working together. So that company then At the time, I think he had about 12 lads working for him, I had 2. So we joined, we had about 14 lads then, you know.
Yeah.
We joined our contracts together, we joined everything together. We're going really well, like, you know. Things were booming, sure, as I said, like, we were putting up 5 houses a week easily, like, you know. That's like up, roof down, everything, like, it was ridiculous. You'll never see like it again, like, you know. And
Yeah, real height of the boom stuff.
yeah,
like.
for good reason too. Sure, they're all shite, you know. It really was shite. If you mentioned the subject at any of the meetings with the builders, you're basically told you want the contract or not, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
And poor people are living in these houses now. I actually drove to an old estate I erected in 2005 or 4. It's fucking shabby looking, you know. It's terrible. It's actually, like, I work in the industry and it disgusts me to see, like, these houses won't last. People are going to spend thousands and thousands fixing these houses in the coming years, which is actually going to benefit the boom again. Yeah, of course. Ironically enough, you know. Yeah. It's one thing that always pissed me off, you know. But then I started building my own one-off houses. And it was grand. I got bored of the building thing. It was kind of, how would you say, like, it was good, but the building was good, the work was good, we were very busy, it was great, but it was the same over and over again, and I was always looking to see what can we do, something different. So I was always into log homes, log cabins, always, just from being a carpenter, fascinated by them.
Yeah.
So I done a bit of research online, I connected with a few people in the States, and I decided to take a trip over. So headed over, met a company, the first company I met actually was called Merrimack Log Homes, up in North America. Lovely people. Flew over. They were really nice. They showed me everything, actually. They didn't hold that back. They were brilliant. They were kind of a small independent company, which in America, like, it is great because there's a lot of mammoths in America, like, you know, that just fucking, it's incredible. But this was a small independent family run company, but they shared everything about log homemaking with me. No, like, brilliant crowd. So I actually bought some stuff off them, and brought back some logs and just practiced and just kind of thinking around with the log home idea. Left it for a while. Then I done an Enterprise Ireland course, as you do. You probably know all about them yourself.
I do, certainly, yeah, absolutely.
So you get into that then, and the idea kind of kept coming back to me. It's not been done properly, really. There was other crowds doing them, but they weren't houses. These are, like, you know, the way you think of log homes, people think of your garden shed. You think of
a cabin of sorts.
A cabin out in your back garden. We were building massive houses. They were 12 by 8 logs. Each log weighed about 16 stone, you know. It was a proper job. So that was grand. So I wanted to really build one in Ireland. So I researched, and through Enterprise Ireland, they actually loved the idea. I sold them, look, it goes on and on, you know yourself, there's so many meetings. I sold the idea to them anyway. So this was all going on. Everything else was booming. So the business that was booming was paying for all this research and setting up of everything for the log home business. But Enterprise Ireland obviously exported the main agenda. You know, they want you exporting. That's what they want. That's, you know, they want to see Ireland exporting to other countries. So we were looking at the Scottish and English market to start off with. You know, our neighbours, really, it's handy over there. So we basically Enterprise Ireland did grant aid to me. Up to, I think it was 100,000. At the time, we set up a 15,000 square foot facility near Dundalk. We went to Switzerland. We sourced all the machinery. You couldn't get this machinery in Europe, nearly, never mind in Ireland. Or, you're talking mammoth-sized logs that you're cutting, like, you know. So went to Switzerland. They have everything over there. If you don't have, they'll make it for you. You know, I met some absolutely amazing people over there. Seen amazing factories. Like, you want to see this place, like you think of an idea, they just manufacture a machine that'll do this for you, you know. So we went over there, bought a couple of machines, brought them back, and then we made a kind of a sample house, you could say, and I went after the leisure market first, simply because golf clubs, leisure clubs, it kind of suits them. It's
kind of upmarket, novelty type thing.
Yeah, and plus they have budgets, believe it or not. So if someone's building a leisure centre or a golf club, they have good money. They're not going to cut it. They're going to do it right the first time. So that's kind of where I went after. But I ended up getting a golf club to build. Great clients again, manufactured the whole thing in the warehouse, got it up, and it snowballed from there. Then other people seen them. Then the main business ended up being retirement couples, to be honest. People building their dream home, they've always wanted for their lives. People who've travelled, seen log homes, and came back. So that's what took that business off. It was great. But we started exporting to Scotland. I was at a trade show in Scotland actually, and met a fella. I'm trying to think of his name now. He won't be listening to this. I wouldn't say anything. James McNabb was his name, from Motherwell. Very staunch Scottish man, but he was working for a window company at the time. So I ended up meeting him after the show one night. It was like one of these Ideal Home shows, you know, these fucking big shows, like
trade show.
It was a big trade show. So he was sick of selling windows, but he was a real salesman. You know, people think of a window salesman. He was a fucking window salesman. If you had no room for window, you'd replace your windows just because he talks that good, like, you know.
Yeah. Sand to the Arabs type fella.
So I was like, this is what we need, like, over here, you know. So, like, I know it might annoy some people, these kind of salesmen, but these lads, like, they get results, like, you know. So I got on to him anyway, and they made him an offer basically he couldn't refuse. So he came working for me, took over the whole Scottish market for me. He started getting sales, and that was great, like, you know.
Yeah.
But in the end, he done his own deal in the side, which, look, happens, business. He obviously started we obviously done a deal then for him to sell in Scotland. He was putting the windows, so he was double dipping. He was using the company he was doing the windows with then in the house as well. So fair play, can't, you know, it worked out well for both of us, you know. But James was some man, all right. But yeah, went well there. But obviously things went bad then. What was it, 2007 and 8? There was signs of it, you know, but not major. No one was kind of...
Rumours, say.
Yeah, there was rumours. We were still very busy, like, you know, very busy. There was rumours that... It wasn't rumours of a crash coming. People thought it was going to slow down, or...
Yeah.
It depends who you listen to, too, you know what I mean? Like, we went to our bank, I don't know how many times for different meetings. This was a time when the bank used to fucking bring you for breakfast once a month and try and make you take
Everybody's
money.
best friend, like.
Yeah, like, they used to make... Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, they used to ring me on a regular basis and offer me fucking money to do something. Like,
Of course they did, yeah.
have you any ideas? Yeah. What is it? Will you come to have a meeting? So you have a meeting, you think, look, I'm thinking of doing it. Right. How much is it going to cost? 200 grand. Right. Give me a week.
Here's
or
4.
whatever. Yeah, they'd ring you back then and say, right, the board is approved. Like, now, a lot of them I didn't take, you know, but it was just, when you think back now, it's fucking ridiculous, like.
But sure, people went looking for a mortgage for a house for fucking 200 grand, and they were told 200 grand's not going to get you out, and here's 4 and a half.
Buy a car
get
as
a
well.
car, you know, have a holiday,
Yes.
but, you know, knock yourself out. But that's what you get when you've fucking bankers on commission, like,
Yeah.
which is essentially what it was.
That's what
like.
it was, yeah. Get the money out the door, you know, get your commission in. But, yeah, look, in hindsight's a great thing. But anyway, that went on and on and on. Where was I going about the meetings with the bank and all that kind of stuff?
Well, it was just the log cabin business kind of basically folded up. So
It wasn't the log cabin. Log cabin was still going well. The building business was folding up.
Okay, sorry, yes.
Right, so anyway, the building business folding up. Long story short, 2 major builders went bust. Within 2 weeks, I was down 150,000.
Lovely.
I had 22 lads at the time, wages, overheads, 15,000 square foot facility, 4 van, you know, everything on the road. But myself and my business partner this is another thing now. If anyone's ever getting into business, I learned, well, I've been into business with partners a few times now, right? Sometimes you have to go that way, but I'd never go into business with anyone ever again.
Really?
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way now, but it's not all my fault either. It's hard to work with people, you know. When things are flying and the money's rolling in, it's so easy. When things are hard, that's when you really see.
That's when the snakes come out of the grass, isn't it?
Not even snakes. It's just like I work harder when things get hard. Like most people would. It's just natural. Like, so things are going bad, we have to work fucking hard. When you're doing really well, you get used to not working really hard.
Yeah, of course.
Does that make sense?
Which that's the whole point.
And then I don't mean mentally. So mentally, you're always busy. You're doing like your pricing the whole time. You're organising lads. You're organising meeting clients. You're doing everything, right? So you're busy all the time, but you're not physically busy. When things get bad and slow, and you have to let lads go, you have to get back on the tools. And you have to make things work, you know, how you started off.
Yeah.
So I had no issues with that. I jumped down to the two. I was straight in again, actually loving it. New found love for carpentry again, believe it or not. Get my hands back on the tools. I actually really missed it then when I got back into it. But the lad working with me had no interest in ever picking up a hammer or doing anything ever again. So his whole attitude was, no, we need to get more work in, and we need to, you know, keep selling it. I'll sell. But sure, there was nothing fucking coming. Like, he was selling. There was no one buying that, and like, you know. So I looked at him and said, look, the only market to go is Scottish and England is still going strong. Yeah, they're having a dip too, but look at the numbers. Like, so like we were spending money on advertising in Ireland. So say we spent 20 grand a year advertising in Ireland. You're only hitting, whatever, right? How many people in Ireland now? 4 million?
Thereabouts, yeah.
Right, so you're only hitting a fucking small percentage of that 4 million that are interested in your product.
Yeah, of course.
As you know, you worked in sales, you know the crack.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so then I was arguing it to him, like, so a small percentage of the market in London and Scotland is fucking millions compared to maybe, if you're lucky, 20,000 a year, you know what I mean? So I was saying, fuck Ireland, basically. Let's go to the UK and just keep the log thing going over there. So he was like, no, we have to stay in Ireland. So basically fell out over the whole thing. I decided, look, this isn't for me. But in the meantime, during all that, I got to meet some interesting people, say landowners and different people that had different like to be honest, I nearly bought a fucking castle, right? That's what happened.
Nearly bought a castle. That's the boom now. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you want a house for when you
in
get a castle?
Castle Blaney there, right? So we went down to Castle Blaney. The place was for sale. There was an island in it. We were going to put a fucking zoo in the island. We were going to build holiday homes. You know, this is what I'm saying. You know, things just snowball. This is before things got bad. You know, so this was ongoing for about a year and a half. Negotiations and this.
Yeah.
So it turned out there was a sitting tenant in the fucking castle, and he wanted I think we wanted 300 grand to get out. I wasn't fucking paying him 300 grand. Even if I had it, I was just going against me fucking grain, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I met another lad that had a great idea in my travels, and he wanted a place for a zoo. Now, not like Dublin Zoo, but on a smaller scale.
Teo Park type setup, maybe.
Before Teo Park was even heard of.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
A similar type setup. Like.
No, there wouldn't have been amusement or rides or anything. It was going to be an
zoo. Yeah,
zoo, right?
photo wildlife park type.
Similar
setup.
again, yeah. But this was great because it's Lake Mucknow. In Castlemaine, people know it, like, you know, it's a fucking big lake. There's a castle there. There's a golf club beside it. It's lovely. But there's an island out in the middle, and it was perfect. I thought, this clash, we'd have the fucking zoo there. And then there's another area right beside it again where we could have had maybe 100 holiday homes. We were going to build log cabins, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Then we were going to renovate and do up the castle, you know. So it made perfect sense at the time. It wasn't out of the ordinary at the time of the boom, like, you know. Yeah. But lucky enough, look, I had some contacts in banking world too. I was talking. I was looking to see. I needed 4 million, and we were nearly thereabouts, and raising the funds, you know. And then things started to go bad, and that was kind of putting it back. But looking back now, I'm delighted it did. Actually, maybe not. If I had got took to 4 million and all, I would have just been gone now. I would have went into NAM or something.
Yeah. The
fact if you owe a couple of $100 now, they'll chase you till you die, you know. So I probably would have been better off taking the 4 million and fucking going bust. But that was grand. Sorry, banging the mic. That was grand. Went from there anyway. Met this chap. He was going to do the zoo. We were going to do the holiday park. We were going to do everything. But it was just, you meet all these kind of people. But that place down there, I thought would have been perfect for like a sleighing castle.
Festival type setup.
It's the same thing. There was a hill going down. There was a lake. It would have fitted like probably 60,000 people I looked at. And then I was thinking, this is fucking perfect, you know. And then through knowing all the musos and Nav and around, and through my sister Joy actually as well, I was asking, who would you think would be good for? I don't want to go to like an MCD or an Aiken, like fuck them, like, you know, if the market's on up.
They're the two big music promotions.
Yeah, I'd love to do an independent music festival with big names, you know. I said, I'll get the fucking cash together. At the time,
yeah,
I had investors and stuff. I was like, we'll get the cash together, but I want to give someone I want to do this with someone that is on the up. So next month I said, well, Sean in the back room has a load of contacts. He's into, like, he had all the good Irish acts coming there at the time, believe it or not. He was a hard worker. So I ended up meeting Sean, brought him down, showed him the place. He's like, fucking hell, this is way beyond my pay scale, like, which I wasn't hoping to hear. I was like, because I'm the opposite. I see something that's a challenge, like, fuck, I'm going to make this work, you know. But Sean's like, no fucking way. Which is understandable.
Yeah, well, listen, some people don't know they don't know themselves well enough to know what they should or shouldn't get into, and that's when people get in over their head, and that's what you don't want. So he was right to say.
He was dead right. Yeah,
no,
I wish I'd listened to him more. Don't tell him I said that. But that was grand. Yeah. So look, that's how I met Sean, believe it or not. And through that, I used to go to the back room. I loved what he was doing. It was great. Like, through that, then we just kept bouncing forward and back. And then I met another site in. Another lad had a big castle in fucking Kilkenny.
Right.
It wasn't a well-known castle or anything. In fact, I think it was used for other things by fucking provos and stuff. You know, I won't go into that.
Okay, all sorts.
But they're all into making money, as you know. So they approached me. I don't know how. Some lad I knew in Kilkenny must have knew them, and he said it to me. To them, this fella's actually might have a way of doing a gig there, you know. So they contacted me. They just want to fucking make money, you know what I mean, or launder money. I don't know what the fuck I wanted to do, you know. So I brought him down to show him that site as well, and then he seen like there's two possibilities. Like, geez, this fucking fella's for real, is he? He's mad, like, you know. So we got talking, and in the end, then we decided to post some smaller gigs together. Well, these are on the burner like the whole time, but
as a by way of kind of dipping your toe into the whole industry, or
yeah, well, dipping our toe into the industry, seeing what we'd work together, I'd say, really, without even saying it to each other out loud. But I think we're just testing each other, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Which was grand, and we did do gigs. So we developed the whole Navan Live thing, and and that was going pretty well. We had some major acts actually in Navan for that.
Navan Live, what, that was the Arbine, was it? Or?
No, Navan Live would have been, what was the first one? Actually, the first one we would have done would have been out in Gormer Loch.
Right.
900 people with Damien Dempsey.
Okay, yeah.
It was great, and I went well. So that was a nice little tester. Then we went from there, we started Navan Live, so we done a massive gig there in the old Balrisk.
Yeah.
Ended out there, great shop in the back car park in a big top.
Oh, I remember that now, actually.
Yeah, we done a couple of years. So the first year we had Sharon Shannon and the big band, Paul Brady, Damien Dempsey, Declan O'Rourke, all major Irish acts, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
We Sean had contacts through booking acts for the back room, and then from in between all that, actually, we were helping out the other acts as I explained.
Yeah.
So then we developed a business called Profile Music Group. So our aim there was to kind of, as I said, help up and coming acts, establish them, get them to go a bit further than we're going. And then obviously the main aim was, right, if they're doing well, we'll try sign them up. We're going to create our own label, you know.
Yeah.
That was the end game, you know. That's what it was all about. So through that then anyway, Profile Music Group then started growing branches, you know. So we had the gigs going on one end. You could kind of see the back room fell into it a little bit, even though that was Sean's thing he set up, so we didn't really tamper with that too much. We started doing the gigs, the artist management. Then we got into ice rinks. I'd Navan and Ice. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. I didn't know that was you.
That was me as well. Yeah, fucking crazy again. Another mad idea, but yeah, I done that 2 years. That was great actually.
And just a nice rink that you set up in the race course, wasn't it?
The race course, yeah. So they were great. So approached another actually neighbour of yours, Joanna McGarry.
Yeah.
Lovely lady. And went out to the race course, and they fucking loved the idea. They were mad to use the facilities out there. I didn't. I approached the council first.
Okay.
I said, look, this fucking town. Sean works for the council as well on the side. So basically, I should say, yeah, Sean has a job in the council the whole time we're doing this as well. He never left his job, you know.
Right.
Which, why would you? He works in IT in the council. So on the side, he was doing this with me. So Sean had a lot of contacts in the council. So we arranged meetings with high up people in the council. I won't name them now because the council is a whole other issue.
Of course, yeah.
But sold them the idea. They loved it. Absolutely loved it. They were delighted that stuff was happening in Nav and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And we wanted to do it on the plaza. That's where I envisioned the ice rink originally.
That's between, say, Dunn's and the shopping centre, that car park area.
That's by right. That's where it should be, and it should be still there every year, even if anyone else is doing, not just me. Like, but it's perfect for it, you know. And that whole car parking thing, we can get into that again. That's local politics, but I think Dunn stores put a stop to it. They were worried about the car parking spaces and there'd be less people coming out of shop. Whereas in fact it would have been the opposite, because when we done it the first year, before I think we had, I was up in the thousands through the place anyway. Like, you know, It was amazing. But the footfall I would have brought to the town even alone, you know. Actually, I wanted to do it in Fairgreen as well, and the fucking market stopped it because of the Friday.
Of course.
I was like, how many fucking Fridays is there over Christmas? Like, you know what I mean? But anyway. It was actually going to be run over 8 weeks, so it probably about 4 Fridays.
Yeah.
So the market wasn't willing to move to the... Actually, the other option then was having the Fairgreen move the market to the plaza.
Right.
They didn't want to play ball either. I think they looked for a ball of money, just chancing of fucking armed traders, did you know? So there was loads of local politics anyway. So in the end, right, fuck this. I wanted it in the town, but it wasn't going to work. It was too much shit going on. Actually, approached Pork Tolchin as well.
Yeah, the football ground.
They were mad for it, but then they wanted to charge me a ball of money to have it there. I was like, it's not really worthwhile if you're going to charge me a ball of money. We could look at doing some kind of a split. All they were doing was giving me their car park. The car park where the swimming pool used to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be in on the pitch or anything. It was going to be in that car
mean,
park. So, look, in fairness to them, they lost out on that one. They weren't willing to deal again. So you meet all these people. But anyway, in the end, went out to the race course. They loved the idea. Didn't even charge me to be out there, you know. They loved it because we done it with packages with the racing, and you could get a family day out. Kids go skating. Parents go to the races, with loads of benefits to having it there, you know. Increase the footfall, increase the awareness of the race course. They're always up for doing that, so it worked out really well there. So that's how the ice rink started. Plus I was used to working in building at the time. I obviously just left the building game, but an ice rink is basically on the floor heating in reverse.
Okay.
So instead of heating something up, you're cooling it down, you know. So that same thing, you run the pipes out the same way, you have headers, but instead of pumping hot water through it, you're pumping glycol through it. Glycol. So basically it's like sugar syrup.
Okay, so its freezing point is minus 20 or whatever it is.
Less. Even more. Like, yeah, if glycol basically doesn't fucking freeze, like, you know.
So you put down a kind of a temporary floor, almost like a stage floor, with this piping underneath it, and then flood it with water? Or?
So basically what I done, I put a marquee in, floor to marquee, you have to insulate the floor, obviously.
Yeah.
You don't like on the floor heating, you don't lose your cold through the bottom either.
Yeah.
You
No point heating the ground. Like.
Yeah, or freezing it. So, yeah, actually, yeah, to get back onto this, I never done ice rink before, right? But I knew how underfloor heating worked. So the two lads, at this stage, actually, I must mention, that's how we got into this rabbit hole. That job I took after the building went bad, I was doing during all this time as well, because I needed cash. And the fella that owned that company, he just got talking to me about, geez, you're doing loads of stuff. Really think it's great to see. You know, all this kind of stuff. He said, look, I have a ball of money, basically. If you say these are pretty good, I'll fucking help.
Bankroll it, like.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Out of the blue, I never even went looking for him or anything. So he just heard about me doing different things and said, look, I know this isn't your gig. You're not going to be here forever. You're not made, like, you're not going to stay doing that's a security job. It was a specialist type of security. I'll get into that again. But in the security job, and he's like, this is fucking, you're only going to hang around here for a while and fuck off the minute you get a break again. You're that, I can see it in you. You know, he's right, I got on well with him at the time. So that was grand. So he was bankrolling this whole thing. So it was not as if, you know, I was borrowing money or I had a ball of money. I didn't. Like, I was under pressure like everyone at the recession, you know. But I was just trying to make $1 again, you know. I don't know, as my wife would probably tell you, a bit of fucking Del Boy, you know. I dream these ideas some nights. I get up, she thinks I'm messing, and then I start fucking going at them, like, you know.
Or a bit the same yourself. Herself just fucking just roll the eyes. Like I started talking about podcasts about 6 months ago, and she was like, I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah,
God love her, like.
You know. And it's actually harder for the partners nearly than us, I think, because you're
Big
lost
time.
in the whole thing, isn't it?
Big time, like. And then, you know, they start complaining that you're always talking about it, so you stop talking about it, and then they don't hear when you do something about it, and you're the worst in the world, and like, they don't have it easy. You
know yourself, like, you come up with an idea, you think, right, this could work, and then you just kind of, it never leaves your head. Like, the shit ones I find leave your head pretty quick. And
yeah, the good ones kind of hang around.
Yeah, without you realising it.
Yeah,
you know, so you could be taking a shit and I'll come back to you, or you could be
random
times during the day. This idea pops back. Why is that coming back into my head again? But through Enterprise Ireland, believe it or not, when things were going good, going back way back, I done every course going.
Yeah, sounds myself.
I was well funded. I done all these I went abroad and everything. They were brilliant. I can't say enough about them, right? But it's a whole fucking scam, Enterprise Ireland. That's a whole other thing. I'll distance Fran from that comment. It's nothing to do with them. But I've been through the whole process. I actually got funded a lot by them. But there's lads making backhanders there, left, right, and centre. Through the whole system, you know, like every
innovation vouchers and all the rest of it.
Innovation vouchers,
preferred suppliers lists.
Yeah. So look, I'll come back to that as well. So if I keep on any rabbit holes, I'm going to get lost.
No, look, you're grand. You're on track.
So basically, you remind me to come back to the ice rink security thing, but Enterprise Ireland, right? It's great. It's actually brilliant. When it works out brilliant, it's brilliant. But
well, here, before we go down the Enterprise Ireland rabbit hole, because we started off with you doing your trade as a carpenter, then it went to building houses, then it went to log cabins, then it went to the backroom sessions and the events and the fucking zoo and the castle and the fucking the security. So keeping it kind of linearly. What was next after? Like, so you're doing the ice rinks.
So we're doing the ice rinks,
yeah.
So basically, I took a risk in doing the ice rink because I'd never done it before. I think that's what I was telling you. So I knew how underfloor heating worked.
Yes.
So I actually just fucking done what everyone does, just Google.
Yeah.
So took out the Google.
You see, it's funny. Sorry again to cut across, but it's funny you say that. You do what everyone does, and you just Google it. People like you do that, and people like me do that, and we've been doing it for fucking as long as the internet's been around. Yeah. But people are only really starting to cop onto that now, I think, which is a great thing.
Well, if you're willing to learn, I think you can educate yourself on anything, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't need to go and do a fucking, I don't know, a 4-year course in fucking ice rink
and
design
and learn
build,
how to do it badly.
And learn how to fucking do it, like, you know. I find, anyway, I'm actually quite lucky. I can follow things on YouTube. Now this goes for another thing we'll probably touch on later in martial arts and everything. I can watch a video on YouTube once or twice and I have it then, you know, that kind of way. It's funny, like,
well, it's a visual thing. You're seeing someone do it. It's we put it this way, for the last so many million years, the way we've been learning is by looking at our parents do things and looking at our neighbours doing things, and that's how we've evolved to learn. Like, reading is only, like, how long is writing even around?
Well, that's
is
true,
it what, a couple of 100 years? No,
it's more than that.
But you know, the low single digit 1,000 years is all it's around. Like fucking cave paintings are only what, 20,000, maybe 100,000 years. But like, we've been evolving.
So writing, what was the first writing?
It was
at the start of Hindu, wasn't it? What was the name of that writing?
It's a dodgy one, because cave paintings you could class as writing, that kind of way. But anyway, there's another fucking rabbit hole. So where are you?
Yeah, so when he took a risk, learned how to do the ice rink on
Yes.
YouTube, fucking set it up, didn't know anything about fucking glycol. I was like, what the fuck's this shit? Had to find where I can buy it then, you know. Now, I wasn't looking for 2 litres of glycol. I'm talking fucking tons of glycol. So, got the glycol going anyway, found out with the chiller, got it all organised, set it up. Fucking thing worked first time, like.
Right.
You know, got a few lads, and see, Ireland is another thing. There is a nice kind of, I don't know, what would you call it, like a nice hockey association of Ireland. There's a figure skating association of Ireland. And like every lot of associations in this country, they're a fucking disaster. The ice hockey one tried to do their own thing before. I don't know if you remember Dundalk, the Ice Dome.
No.
There was a full-time ice rink in Dublin originally, then there was another full-time ice rink in Dundalk, and through one thing or another, they never worked, not because they weren't good business ideas, because there's so much bureaucracy and shite with these associations, you know?
Yeah.
So I found out real quick when we got into the ice rinks, obviously they start coming out of the woodwork, you can't just have an ice rink, and you can't, it's fucking right, I can do what I want, you know?
Yeah, watch me.
I wasn't looking to have like a hockey team or have a full-time ice rink, and I was doing it for Christmas period, ice rink, bit of crack, Christmas market, blah blah. These lads were coming in, you can't just set up an ice rink. I was basically like, I fucking can, I can do what I fucking like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
They were a bit trying to intimidate you a bit at the start, but then they realised that obviously I don't give a fuck, got intimidated easily, so that was grand. They left us alone, set up they actually tried to not, they didn't leave us alone really, they tried to kind of belittle the ice rink and all this, it's not a proper rink, but it never was meant to be, you know what I mean? Like, they came out and looked at the technique they were doing it, that's not right. So if you did it the way they wanted to do it, it could probably cost you €1 million, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So got through all that at the start, got the ice rink up and running, it worked out perfect in the end. One little issue with the headers, there's no such thing as these headers for the ice rink unless you bought.
Sorry, you said headers a couple of times. What are headers?
So headers are there's a flow and return on any heating system.
Yeah.
Exact same for an ice rink. So they both have to come back to flow and return. So there's 2 big long pipes to headers. So it flows in one and returns in another. It keeps the glycol cool all the time. So
okay.
Back out. So had to get them specially made. So because I didn't buy a kit. You can buy kits. You can buy an ice rink online.
Yeah,
like
of course,
you can buy fucking anything and get it shipped in. So this time we didn't. We kind of went our own way, you know, because we custom made it to a certain size to suit a budget, to suit everything, to suit the marquee we had, you know. So we made it to suit, and it worked out grand. But we had a leak with one of the headers. That was the only issue we had. Fixed that. That was grand, you know. So lucky enough, that was the only major issue we had.
Yeah.
Got the ice rink up and running. Got it in. Got it going. It was a huge success. Like the first year, it was fucking great. Like, done it the next year, and I don't know what year that was. It was fucking terrible snow and ice and everything for the whole of Christmas.
Yeah, the 2 bad years we had, wasn't it?
Fuck me, it was a bad one. So we lost our bollocks that year, to be honest. But the only people that came up during that year when things were bad now, to be honest, it goes for 6 to 8 weeks. Now, to give you a perspective, to keep the ice frozen, people think when it's cold it's great for ice rinks. It's not. Wind melts ice.
Really?
Yeah, wind is the killer. So, but even if you're in a marquee, you know, you still get wind and draft and all. So wind will melt ice. So we had to obviously keep the chiller. You have to check the wind the whole time, check the temperature outside, temperature, what's going to be that night. So you have to constantly adjust the chiller. It's a fucking all the time to keep your ice at its maximum, you know. But no one came out there. It was windy, it was snowy, it was a horrible year for it. We were just, fuck this now. Like, it just happens, you know, take a risk and shit happens. But the only people that came up that year were a Polish, a Lithuanian, a lot of the Eastern Europeans that were living in Ireland.
Who were used to the snowy roads or whatever.
They came up. We ended up having hockey tournaments. We end up actually the Figure Skaters Association of Ireland, the rink in Dundalk had since shut down, I think, just before that Christmas, and they didn't know where to skate anymore. Belfast is the only rink in the country, so they all came. So only for that kind of helped us a bit. We didn't lose as much. Took the sting out, and then went from there. The ice rink was a great success. Yeah, like now, whoever thought I would have a fucking ice rink? You know what I mean? So like that was a few things we done. So again, the council missed out there not having it in the town. You know, that was another big thing that annoyed me. But went on from there. Done the Navan Live gigs. Then the last year Navan Live actually we had UB40.
Yeah.
Great gig too, and a few other big names that year on the stage as well. So the gigs were going great. It was grand, like. But through all that, then we got into the artist management, as I said. So there was a young lad from Navan. He'll probably be listening. Christy Leach, lovely chap. Actually, in a big band doing really well at the minute called Le Boom. Check them out. They're actually really, really good. Actually, I think it's Clarky's niece that's in it with him as well.
Right.
I can't think of her name. I'm very sorry at the minute. They're a great band, up and up. And so Christy was from Navan. He used to go to the backroom sessions, big into his music.
I know Christy from just the music scene. Yeah.
So he used to just watch acts, and then he set up his own band. He's a teacher, and there's a few teachers in Dublin. They set up their own band. They were called Henrietta Game. Fucking cracking band. It's kind of a folky thing with a twist, but I heard a demo they sent to Sean, and Sean never knew what to do with it. People send him demos all the time looking for gigs in the back room, you know.
Yeah.
And when I heard, I said, this isn't just for the back room. There's something here that could happen, like, you know.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for these guys.
Yeah, so they were actually great to work with and everything, and ended up getting big game. Loads of stuff happened. Toured the whole country, ended up making an album, got album of the week in RTE, made all the radio stations. We fucking played every station in the country, every festival. Went really well. And then I won't go into the reasons why the band broke up. They have their own reasons. They end up just whatever. There was 4 or 5 of them in the band. Stuff happened between, like, I think there's a couple of them going out together, and that fizzled out. And there's other strains, and you know yourself, band life.
Yeah.
It's fucking tough being on the road too. Like, at the time I was doing tour manager and setting up the gigs at the same time for them. So, like, you're gone constantly gigging, and it's fucking horrible. Like, people think it's a nice life. It's fucking horrible. You know, it's a slog. You're doing it for fuck all. You're in and out looking. You go some venues and there's just people that aren't interested in your music, and it's a slog. So anyone that does it and comes up that way and earns their stripes, you have to hand it to them. You know?
Yeah,
give me a new appreciation for actually the way musicians break through, you know.
Yeah.
But I suppose, like anything, you have to work your way up and earn your stripes, you know. Now, obviously there's exceptions to every rule, but to see how it was done that way was amazing. And just I actually met a load of really cool people along the way. But went from that then, and the whole time I was doing that, I was working with this fella for this security, and he was funding all the different ventures. But we set up then a venue actually in Navan, Swan Lane, up in the Arboyne.
Yeah, that's the one I thought you mentioned earlier. Right?
Yeah, that was the last venture I was involved in, and yeah, it was going really well. It was going cool. But I don't know, people go to Dublin to watch these big names before they go to Navan to watch them. I don't know what it was. It was just a kind of the local music scene would come and watch the gigs, but the general gig goer was still, I don't know, I got the vibe that they still go to Dublin to watch a gig, you know. Where
put it this way, I've been to 100 gigs in Dublin. I've never been to one gig in Trim.
Yeah, even though it could be the same band.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. These are big names, like, you know. But so basically it was a business. They needed to make money. So the boys kind of, I think, went more into the dance route, you know. And that's where I lost interest. I'm not into the whole dance scene. It's not for me. It's, look, each to their own. That's just not for me, you know.
Oh yeah.
We know what that brings to a venue as well. It's just a fucking mess with drinking, drugs, and, you know, it's just a horrible scene to me. It's just not something I'm into.
It's something I never gravitated towards myself.
Yeah.
And again, same as yourself, you know, each to their own. But look, if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Yeah, so I felt disillusioned with that whole thing anyway, and I ended up parting ways with the lads, you know. And I had a few other things I wanted to get into myself again anyway. But yeah, I just said, like, you know, this is going the way it's going. The band obviously had just broken up. That was our major act, really. The music thing was changed into the dancing, not for me. The fucking ice rink lost money that year, as I explained with the weather. The UB40 gig actually lost a few quid, believe it or not. So I was like, this is like, you know, and the pressure was on. So the venue was actually doing alright, but there was 3 of us involved in that then, you know. And understandably, the investor was getting a bit anxious, which you would.
Yeah.
So he wanted to take a more hands-on approach, but he didn't know anything about the industry. And he was kind of fucking things up a bit worse than they already were. Like, if he had left it alone, it probably would have been alright. But he wanted to get hands-on. It's his money, that's fair enough. But
that's a kind of typical story that you hear, though, isn't it, with investors? When things aren't starting to go great, they say, oh, hang on a second, I can come in here. And
he didn't know anything about it. Or
they forget why they're bankrolling other people in the first place. Like.
To be honest, I'll give you one example. I had a very good lad working for me that night doing security, and there was lads dealing drugs in clubs, like happens in every club, and he threw them out. And when he left, a lot of lads taking drugs were leaving. So this investor came to, he was there that night, just I think he just came up that night. I don't even know, like, it's not as if he was partying around. He's just up looking at his investment, you could say.
Yeah.
And he's like, where are all them lads going? I said, well, we fucked out the drug dealer there, you know. Sure, look, the fucking state of the jacks, there's people off the head, there's lads killing each other out there. I said, like, this is fucking crazy, you know. And he's like, what you kick him out for?
Paying customers. He
said, they're fucking spending money at the bar, which we want. I said, yeah, but who has to deal with this shit? I said, our bouncer at the time, our head bouncer, I was getting threatened. A knife was pulled on him at the door that night. He ejected a few people inside for threatening people, not to him, but other people with bottles. And to prove him right in the end, that night, a drug dealer from Navan came back to the door of the club that night and produced a knife out the window of his car and said, you're fucking dead after your shift. Who do you think you are kicking us out? You know, this is the shit you're dealing with in these venues, you know?
Yeah.
And the investor didn't give a shit. I was like, well, look, that man has to live. You know what I mean? He's local. He's a great bouncer.
It's a fucking job, like.
But
Do you know what I
to
mean?
him, right, he done his job.
Yeah.
And now you're saying he shouldn't do his job. And now you're saying he has to... You're not going to be the one to deal with the shit that comes with letting the boys get off their head basically all night in the venue. You're going to expect him to jump in and put his life at risk for you to make a few extra quid at the bar. I said, you're having a fucking laugh, you know? So that was one... That was the kind of start, the end of that relationship a little bit with him, because I fucking was really pissed off that night. But anyway, that was grand. So things were going the way they're going. And then I think he decided, look, this is where all the money is, the dance thing. And I was like, right, you can have it, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
So I jumped ship anyway. But before all that, I was working with him in that security job anyway. So the bandwagon, go right back to the start.
Yeah.
The bandwagon was part of the profile as well. Actually turned out to be probably our biggest thing. Like, you're talking, every video was averaging 10, 15,000 views in a weekend, you know. It
Savage.
ended up like, we've massive acts there, Damien Dempsey, Lisa Hannigan, Steve Wickham from Warboys. There's loads of big names on, like, you're talking 40, 50,000 views. It was phenomenal how it took off, you know.
But was there money in it though?
There was and there wasn't. So there was no money in the start. It was just funded by ourselves. And then, so this is before podcasts or anything, right? So I think at the time, the biggest thing was that balcony TV. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
So it was pretty cool. Shout out to them lads, fair play to them. But
Is that still on the go?
I don't know. He franchised it worldwide, and
Oh fuck.
yeah, he done big things with it. Fair play to him. And to be honest, I got inspiration from it. I didn't copy it as such. You know, if anyone sees the videos, know we didn't copy it, but it was like, right, there's a gap there. His thing was fine, but people had to come to Dublin to go to his balcony to record the video.
Yeah.
And there was obviously interference outside. It was on a balcony. It was windy. So it wasn't a controlled environment where I was like, no, you need to have somewhere they can come do a proper video, a proper kind of interview, and you know, that kind of thing. So we were racking our heads. How can we promote the music? How can we promote the bands? Blah blah. So then we came up with this idea. We'll do our own kind of podcast. So we were banging this fucking idea back and forth, and we were like, right, podcast grand, but people need to see the bands. You know, you need a video, like for MTV. You know what I mean? Taking inspiration from that. So. Yeah. That was grand. So then we're thinking venues. We do it in the venue. It's a bit stale. It's like the other thing then. People just have to come to us the whole time. So in the end, I was doing the security job. And one of my jobs was basically, one area was I was working for the council. So you have the travellers, anyone living in the council house basically. So so if someone gets a council house, they move into it, blah blah. There's conditions of getting the house, but travellers used to get the house and move like 2 or 3 caravans into the driveway, and there'd be pandemonium. There'd be 7 generations living in the fucking driveway. You know what I mean?
Break the T's and C's basically.
Yeah,
of the agreement or whatever it is.
So we'd be called in and we'd have to serve notice on them and ask them to leave. You know, and needless to say, they never wanted to fucking leave, and there was issues. And then the council would pay. You'd have to go and you'd have to tow the caravan out, and they'd be impounded. And if they wanted it back, they'd have to pay for it. And there was loads of issues with it. We could go on and on and on. Now, just I want to say I did that job, but I've actually loads of traveller friends. So these were just some families that love to make the system. What you think?
Look, they're in every community. Do you
yeah.
know,
now, to be honest, some of them weren't all travellers. Like how the bandwagon started was I got a caravan actually. We went in would you call it an eviction? We towed the caravan out basically. And the family were saying, "Oh, we're not taking it back. He's gonna stick it up your hole." Blah blah blah. So the thing is kept in storage. I think they have a couple of weeks to come back and pay for it and pound fees and get back. But this family never came back. So I was thinking, right, we need a venue. And then it just clicked with me. I said on the phone to Sean, I can get a fucking caravan. There's fucking hundreds of them sitting in a pound above in Dublin City Council or wherever it was. And he's like, a fucking caravan. I said, yeah, think about it. We'll get the caravan. We'll do it up. We can travel. We can go to any venue. See, we are good friends at other venues. We can go to other venues when they've got acts on that night. Yeah. We can park out in the venue. Like, I wanted all the small names in, but in order to get them exposure, you have to get big names. Yeah. People won't just come and look at your podcast or your videos if it's just a Joe Soap from Navan. Never heard of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for example, we put Damien Dempsey on. All our videos skyrocketed up. We put on Lisa Hannigan. Like, people see her and they say, oh, what are they about? Next minute, everyone is benefiting from it.
Just raises your profile. Yeah,
so it was great. So we went to the venues where they were playing. Pre-arranged with the managers and everything beforehand. You know, it was all legit. It was 100%. They actually loved the idea. Everyone loved it. And actually, the major acts then spread the idea and spread. Then all the music festivals contacted us. So we done down Electric Picnic. We done every festival in the country nearly. We were backstage. Yeah. So the acts would play on stage, and when they're finished, they come in and we'd interview them and they play an acoustic song in the caravan. Now, in the meantime, the caravan now I got from the Traveller family was not in good shape. So there was fucking blood in the walls. There was fucking look. So in the end, I gutted the whole thing. renovated it, re-insulated it. Big shout out actually to Shane Monaghan. I don't know if you know Shane Monaghan.
Can't say I do offhand.
Old neighbour of mine. He's a robotics engineer. Got him to wire it for me in 12 volt and the whole lot. He done a great job. Done the whole thing up. It looked like a studio. If you online look at it, you think people are actually inside.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's class.
So we were able to travel then. So we got travelling with the bandwagon, increased the whole profile of the thing. Views went skyrocketing. That was all good. Then got approached for advertising a few times.
Okay.
So that was fine. We're negotiating with a few different people.
For kind of product placement, for having stuff just in the shot? Or?
No, basically ads on the fucking thing.
Okay, so before it plays, an ad.
And this is before the big YouTube ad thing as well.
Yes.
That wasn't as big now then, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking 2000 and... What year would that have been? 2008 maybe?
Right.
2009. But anyway, yeah, it wasn't a big thing as is now. And we were like, oh... The money wasn't... It was actually quite shit. And you had to adhere to all these terms and conditions. So the right thing didn't come along. And in my naivety, I should have explored that a lot more, because there was actually a great market there if you had looked at it properly. But I didn't that time, because we had all the other things going on. We had ice rinks going, we had concerts going.
You had to set up a zoo.
The bandwagon, to be honest, set the whole thing off, and then it got put in the back burner. And we didn't realise it at the time. And it's only hindsight when you look back. That was the best thing of the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
Then only after I finished the bandwagon and all, it was near the end of before I left Profile, I got a message from an Australian company. I can't think of the name now. They're like Aircom over here.
Okay.
And they wanted to franchise the bandwagon to Australia, so that if you signed up to their, say, whatever, like there's other internet providers, I'll just say as well, not just Aircom, just to be to be fair, whoever it is, they wanted to, so if you signed up to their package, that you got access to these exclusive interviews. So they were going to do their own bandwagon in Australia, have all these major acts performing it, and then if you did sign up to their package, you got access to look at the videos and all that kind of shit. So
yeah, they'd have exclusivity on this bandwagon TV idea, basically.
Yeah, so it was a great idea, and actually thinking, right, we should be doing more of that over here. But in the end, in the heel of the hunt, we didn't go that way. Things got just fucking, things went the way they went, and it got put on the back burner. And in the end, I think I was left at this time and all, but Sean rang me one day and said, would I mind if we gave it, I think there was a local lad wanted to take on with it, keep it going.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I don't give a shit about it. I was totally out of love with the whole business at this stage, you know what I mean? So much shit had happened, and I never even thought twice about the bandwagon once I left. And I said, do what you want with it, I don't care, So realistically, I was at a business thing. Where was it? In Trim Castle or something. And it was like for angel investors,
Yeah.
And I got talking to these lads, and they're like, just tell us about your history. And I brought up bandwagons, like, I totally invest in that now. I was like, fucking hell. Only talking, like, I'm talking a few years later, like, I was like, Jesus, I fucked that one away, didn't I? Like, that was a good one, and it could have been something more, but I just let it go to him for now. I think he's just fucked it up. I don't know what he's done with it now. He's burnt it to the ground or whatever. I think he wrote Caravan off and didn't keep it going, but yeah, it was a good time. It was great crack.
Yeah, it's funny because that I can't say it was the source of the idea for what I've had with bringing the podcast on the road, but it's probably in there somewhere, that kind of way. But I have a van for my deliveries, so an ideal setup for me will be, instead of dragging people to here, like I've gone out and interviewed people or had conversations with people, bring the mics and the laptop and that to places. Yeah. But what would be perfect would be for me to have a refrigerated van, because my van isn't refrigerated. Oh yeah. And I can get away with it not being refrigerated because I do my deliveries at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So I can load up the van, and it may as well be a fridge at night, even during the summer. It's grand for the hour it takes me to get to Dublin. But ideally, it would be a insulated van, which would double as almost as soundproofing, brand the whole outside of it, and have basically some sort of a foldable setup with chairs and a table and the mics and maybe a curtain that you could pull around to help with the sound and whatever else. So the idea being that I could drive to somebody's home and you could do it in the fucking either in the driveway of their house or in a local car park, or
it's so easy to do.
Or even the gigs. The same idea. If you wanted to have a conversation with the lead singer of a band or whatever, you could pull up outside his hotel. You could go to the venue he's playing at, whatever else. Very similar.
But you could even hit people up that you're interested in talking to. I know myself, just from shooting off an email, thinking no one will reply. If you've seen someone coming to Ireland and they're doing something, I'm not even
speaking event or anything.
A speaking event, I was thinking for you, or someone interesting you just wanted to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could chance your arm, shoot them off an email and say, look, this is what I'm all about. Would you come? I'll come to you. Like, it'll just be your time. And you'd be surprised. Some people are like, oh yeah,
But the only reason I haven't reached out to people is because I hadn't a few things done, which I'm after getting sorted literally in the last week.
Yeah.
I wasn't on iTunes, I wasn't on YouTube, I hadn't Acast sorted. So I'm on pretty much all the platforms now. I have the YouTube channel. I would like to get a website up and running, but I'm not overly fussed on that. I think
it's a very formality thing. It's just a thing. You don't really need a website, really.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I like the idea of it, but look, I'm not gonna go down that route anytime soon.
Keep it simple.
But now that I've everything set up, I feel like in a better position that I can start reaching out to people. And it's just pure coincidence, which actually brings me back into something I wanted to ask yourself. I uploaded a video there the other day, and Roger Dardis, that you'd know, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt I had on.
Yeah. Love Roger.
He's a sound lad.
Roger Dardis.
Roger Dardis, yeah. He commented on the video and he tagged Andy Ryan in it.
Yes.
And Andy Ryan commented on his comment saying, mad cunts or whatever. And I just commented, Jesus, Andy, we've never met, but you'd be a
Andy.
great guest.
Andy's a great man too, yeah.
Yeah, apparently so. I've never met him now.
Yeah, I trained up there for a little while.
That's right, yeah. Which is what I was going to say there.
Yeah.
So Andy's agreed to come on. We haven't settled out the details, but
no better man.
Myself and Andy will sit down and have a chat.
Oh man, he's a funny man.
But Andy's the head coach in Team Rhino.
Team Rhino, yeah.
So I suppose between himself and John Kavanagh, they basically started MMA in Ireland back
pretty
in
much,
the day.
yeah. You could say that, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Which, as I was saying, kind of sidelines it back round to yourself. Between the ice rink and the zoo and the log cabins and the music business and all the fucking rest of it. When did you start training in MMA?
Right, that's a good question. Right, so MMA proper, is obviously different, right? So I done boxing when I was a kid.
Okay. And when you say a kid, under what? Or what age would you have been?
I was 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
11. Then I got into GA. GA was my big thing. I played up to mid-minor level. I played GA mad, so that took over my life. But
what position is a matter of interest?
Me, I played half back and half forward.
Okay.
So I switched around depending,
Wouldn't be like you to be stuck in a... as goalie or something, you'd have to be in a position you'd be moving around.
Yeah, it was interesting too. More local politics. I started my career, you would say, with O'Mahony's.
Okay.
My grandfather was a major thing in O'Mahony's. What did you mean? The Parnells in the day.
Right.
Before O'Mahony's was O'Mahony's. And I just have a family ties with O'Mahony's. So I started O'Mahony's under 8s. And that was grand. Loved it. And then I went to St. Oliver's School. Where I think we probably would have met originally, was it? You were in Ollie's too, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I did 7th and Ollie's.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Anyway, went to Ollie's, and there was principal at the time, John Howard.
I do.
Massive driving force behind Simonstown.
That's right, yeah. I set up the creche that my young lad goes to.
Oh, did he? Yeah, even before all that, going way back, sure, John was the chairman, the man, even through the good time. John, I think, had the vision to bring it to where it is today, But John, yeah, nice man, 100%. He was the principal in the school. Called me down to the office one day. Now, I'm talking I'm when a kid, in primary school, what age was I? 10 or 11, I don't know. And called me down to the office one day, and I was like, oh, fuck, right, what's in trouble? Because I was regularly in the office. Went in, anyway, he asked me to sit there, and he goes, I seen you're going for the school team. And I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah, you're a pretty good footballer, blah, blah, blah. I was one of the rare people. I was on the school team in primary school 3 years in a row. So you can imagine how small it was. 4th, 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really happen too often. But I think it was in 4th class at the time. I was the sub actually the first year. But I was on the panel, that kind of way.
Big deal when you're in fucking 4th.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But John was selling it to me licking me arse. And now when I look back on it, and Simonstown's right beside your house, only out the road. And would you ever just play for Simonstown and this, that and the other? And all your classmates are out there. And sure, my classmates were out there, I was lucky. I grew up in Avon, but I had both sides of the town. So I'm from Severlons. My family originally from Growney Towers. I played for Matneys, so I knew all that end of the town. Then I was from Severlons, went to school in St. Oliver's. Right, I lived beside St. Paul's. I hung around Blackcastle, Clusco Park. So I had both ends of the town. I was lucky. I had friends in all ends of the town. But
I was kind of similar because Pat O'Reilly, the last guest, he would have grown up on Bruce Hill.
That's
so
right.
That had me hanging around the O'Mahony's end of things, but then went to school in Ollie's, which was the Simonstown end of things. And it's nice to have both sides.
It is. It's pretty cool. But then he sold it to me about all my schoolmates being in fucking...
In Simonstown, yeah, of course.
So, anyway, the young naive person I was, I jumped ship, went out to play for Simonstown. Anyone who's playing out there will know the history there anyway. I had some good games. I would have been known for my temper when I was younger.
Never.
Yeah. Short fuse that time, but never in a too bad of way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the football pitch, you know what I mean? Not like I didn't walk down the street just fucking go mad around. Like, but I was so into the football. Like, it was everything to me. Like, so I would have given me life for the football team at the time. You know that kind of way. I was that obsessed with football. But Simonstown were good days, and then I left Simonstown. I started working, I think, and I missed O'Matney's. Like, I was still in friends with lads. Then I know. Do you know what happened? My granddad passed away, and it just got me thinking about my family history and all that again. I was like, I'd love to fucking go back and play for O'Matney's because he was one of the original people there, and you know, it just brings it all back to you. So I end up getting a transfer from Simonstown to O'Matney's.
And this is what, under 10s or 13s or older? Or
15s or 16s.
Okay,
probably.
okay.
And that was a saga.
Oh, just stop, Jesus Christ.
It took a year. You'd swear I was fucking Ronaldinho. Now let's just make the records right. I was not that good, like, you know what I mean?
Sure, it's the principle of the matter.
I was decent, but I wasn't great. And you would swear the shite that I had to go through for a young lad to play football, you know, it was unbelievable, you know. They couldn't just say, right, let him go. But that was the crack with John Howard out in Simonstown, you know. But where were we going before that?
MMA.
Oh, back to MMA, yeah. I started again to MMA. So yeah, I was doing all my football. Football took over my life. But then I started working for a chap just before I started with Donal, actually.
Okay.
Out here doing carpentry. I was a cabinet maker. I couldn't get a carpentry apprenticeship anywhere. And I was leaving school. I was 15. You can imagine what my mother was thinking, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So in the end, she gave in and said, if you get a fucking job, you can leave. You know what I mean? That's how she just get a job and you can leave. So that had no problem. I was working since I was 12 anyway. I worked for my father. I actually worked out here in Kilberry picking or stacking turf and doing stuff. My cousins are out this way, you know?
Yeah.
So I had no issue working at all. Like, I've been working my whole life. So I said, I get a fucking job, prove you wrong. She's like, what do you want to be? I said, well, I always wanted to be a carpenter. Like, I've always been fascinated with carpentry and woodworking. So what did I do? I approached loads of people. There was actually no apprenticeships available at the time. So I ended up taking a fucking plumbing job. Now, it turned out to be great because I learned a bit of plumbing, but I fucking hated it, man. No, I couldn't do plumbing. Hated it. I was actually quite good at it, but I hated it. So in the end, this cabinet making job came up. So I took it.
So cabinet makers would be, you know, kitchens, wardrobes,
fitted furniture, custom furniture. So I actually enjoyed it now. But you're inside a lot in a fucking factory, which drives me nuts, being stuck there all the time, you know. Yeah. So, which is, at the start, it's all great, but then it wears on you. So I was with him for a good while. And he teaches the Irish karate team.
Okay.
Right, so Oliver Carlin was his name. People probably know him. And started doing a bit of karate with Oliver. Totally different to boxing, obviously. Different to everything. I thought because I was on the boxing, karate, I just take to the karate. Not at all. Totally different movement, foot moving, hand moving. So done a bit of that, enjoyed it. Obviously, he was always pushing you, come on out for another session. I never had any interest in getting into karate. I was never into the whole kind of fucking... I love the films and all, but I was never into the whole... Every time I tried, I tried karate, I tried everything. But it always, when you start anything, you have to work your way into it. Yeah. I thought I'd go to fucking karate and I'd be doing spinning kicks coming out the door. Like, you know, as a kid, that's what you think. You know, you think, right, here I go. But it didn't happen like that. It was quite fucking boring. And karate, the traditional karate, you have to do all your, like, you have to, your rehearsed,
wax on, wax off, kind
or whatever they're called, yeah, and just fucking used to drive me mad. So I can't even dance. Never mind fucking rehearse these things. You know what I mean? It was like dancing to me, and fucking hated it. But anyway, I left that for a while. Went working with Donal out here, done my carpentry, and then I done a bit of boxing every now and again. But then I found the UFC. I think it was 2004, right? 2003. On Bravo done a thing where they took on UFC, the TV channel. Used to be channel 123. I always remember because I used to go 123 fucking UFC was on, you know. And I used to stay up all night watching this fucking UFC. I became addicted.
And who would have been Ken Shamrock?
Ken Shamrock would have been in it. Rich Franklin.
Yes.
Rich Franklin was my hero. Still is my hero to this day. Rich Franklin.
Really?
Yeah. Met the man twice. Oh, I love Rich Franklin.
What's the fucking name? Ace
Rich Franklin. Yeah. He was middleweight champion.
Yeah.
When I started watching it, then Randy Couture was at all weight levels. I'm sure he dropped the featherweight to fight McGregor if he wanted to. He was light heavyweight champion when I started watching it.
I met him. He's not that big a dude.
No,
like,
and
he's
man,
fucking crazy.
he was a middleweight champion as well. The big thing when I started watching it was there's a massive thing going on between Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell.
Yes. Yes.
I don't,
Was it the Iceman and the
fans won't
fucking...
remember this.
The Iceman and what was the
Huntington Beach bad boy.
That's what he was.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So Tito would have been the original
bad boy.
Yeah, before Conor even was born. And I fucking loved this. And Chuck was just a badass motherfucker, man.
Do you know he used to paint his toenails?
Yeah, I used to watch it. Yeah.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
And like Chuck was brilliant. Chuck was, I think, he's a fifth Dan in Kempo.
Yeah.
Fascinated by the man. Like, obviously, when you get into it and you start just studying it. But I was watching all this stuff, right? Now, I didn't know if you were into it at the time or not. I would have known you, but I was always saying it to people, and everyone was like, what are you fucking on about? Like, I was like, fucking UFC, martial arts, and you tell them, oh, wrestling. No, it's not fucking wrestling. This is stuff in a cage, boys are killing each other. And then they'd be always on about, like, obviously Jean-Claude Van Damme would come into, and the film stuff would come into. Like, no, it's not like
or
the
that
films.
it was fake, that it was fake.
Yeah, it's all blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, you haven't got the point. So at the time, actually, do you know what caught my eye one night? I was flicking and I found it, obviously. And then I used to love Fear Factor.
Oh, Joe Rogan.
And Joe Rogan was commentating. And I was like, I know that fucking voice. You know what I mean? Yeah. But to be honest, I learned loads about MMA just them early years watching it. And Joe was very good at explaining what was going on.
Even back then.
Back then, he was actually probably better than he is now.
Yeah, because he really had to explain it to everyone.
And it wasn't as corporate as it is now, you know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
He had more freedom to do what he wanted, and he was fucking great. But I learned so much from it. But got into Joe Rogan, and that's a whole other story. But yeah, got into it all, loved all the fighters, got to watch them. 2006 came, and obviously I was working or whatever I was doing, but I seen they advertised one night when I was watching the UFC that they were coming to Belfast.
Yeah.
And who was headlining? Rich Ace Franklin, my fucking hero, like. So like, no fucking way. I forget who he was fighting, Ogami or someone. Remember the Ogami? I think he was Japanese, Yoshi Ogami.
Yes.
And he was a beast too, but middleweight anyway. But so 2006, right, got 2 tickets online, fucking joined up to everything, made sure I was going to get there. I was in the Odyssey in Belfast, so I went looking for some. I had 2 tickets and I bought and paid for and all. Couldn't get anyone to come with me.
Hilarious.
This is no lie. This was 2006, so I was like, well, fuck you, then. You know what I mean? So ended up bringing my business partner at the time. As I said, my business partner at the time, that fella was, he was in his 40s, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he'd never heard of fighting or anything like it. This fella was from Dundalk. He's a farmer and a carpenter. Like, I brought him up to the UFC. Jesus Christ, he was holding my hand during it. Oh, it was hilarious. But I was there watching it, and I fell even more in love with the whole.
Yeah, when
sport.
you see it in person, yeah.
It's incredible to watch on the telly, but with being there, it was absolutely incredible. It blew my mind, like, and like I knew a lot about it at the time. Like, who else was there that day? There was loads of great fighters there. I think Diego Sanchez was there. There's a few other big names there in Belfast. Anyway, it was a fucking great night, and they were so accessible. Like, so you could go up and meet all these fighters at the end of it. Like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Got to meet my hero, Rich Franklin. What a legend of a man! Like.
And did you meet him just in like the pub after, like,
no,
or what? Like,
I went down to the barrier after the fight, and he came back out after getting changed or whatever he done.
Yeah.
He actually had a tough fight. I think it was a unanimous decision win. It was a tough fucking fight. But he won that. And yeah, what was that one? Yeah. He won that one and came back out in the whole lot and met people and just chatting, shooting the breeze, like sound chap. But I was following him. He's this thing called American Fighter. He had a whole brand of clothes. He's big into nutrition. He's big into everything. He's his own businesses. He's huge business going on in America, like all built from being in the UFC. He's one of the first to kind of put the business end of things with the MMA end of things.
He was the first, no disrespect to anyone else that was fighting at the time, but he was the first kind of smart fighter, was he?
Rich Franklin, a lot of people don't know, was a maths teacher.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, the UFC, I think a lot of meatheads gravitated to it.
They did, yeah. Yeah, a lot of meatheads did gravitate to it, yeah. You see them there screaming when you're at the fucking thing and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But even the fighters, though, do you know that kind of way? It was a kind of
you got lads trying their arm, I think, didn't you? Like,
because it was so new, I suppose.
Like, the whole, when I first got into UFC, it was all about what discipline you're into. It wasn't like mixed the way it is now.
Yes, of course.
It was more like, to be honest, wrestlers fucking dominated the fucking thing.
Yeah.
For a brief period, strikers did dominate. But then, like, obviously strikers can, you know, knock you out whenever they want, whatever.
Yeah, but as soon as a wrestler has your timing or got used to a bit of striking.
And lucky enough, when I started watching, I was on my own. It was late at night. I forget where we were even, but it was probably at home in my house, whatever it was, but I was able to listen to. I knew fuck all about wrestling at this time, but Joe Rogan broke it down and explained it so well. I became fascinated by wrestling, like fascinated by it. Still am to this day.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are like, I'm not watching Asher Underground for 10 fucking minutes. I'm like, but look what's going on, like, you know, the battle for position. But I got fascinated by wrestling. So not wrestling like WWE's people know wrestling. It's a totally different wrestling, right? Just to make that clear. But so I got fascinated with the ground game and all that. So yeah, wrestlers dominate, but a lot of people weren't into it because of that end of it. They just didn't like the wrestling on the ground. The jiu-jitsu, they hated it. They didn't understand what was going on.
But you look, even when I started watching it at first, it'd go to the ground and they'd be rolling around, and the next minute it'd be over. And you're like, I literally remember sitting there watching it with my mates, kind of going, anyone know why he won or didn't win or what the fuck? Like,
yeah, but I was fascinated by this anyway. So then that went on, and I said to myself that night, when you're sitting there, I said, I'm going to fucking do this. I just did, and I said it to John, this fellow was with me, and he's like, "You're on your fucking arse going to do that." I said, "I'm fucking telling you." I said, "That's like, you know, I can do this, like, you know." So I looked for a club, and funnily enough, for a year, this is going to be I never said it to him, but he'll probably be on. Andy Ryan looked up clubs, and Team Rhino came up on the internet, and I got busy and work. Oh shit! Started hitting the fan, and work actually was. All the things went the way they went, recession hit, blah blah blah. I hadn't the money for training then. Team Rhino was in Dublin. I was in no position to drive up and all, so I had to kind of put that whole thing in the back burner. There was no clubs in Navan, like, or even heard of nearby.
So there was no clubs nationally.
I think you'd SBG, Team Rhino,
and that was more or less it.
Actually, Rush, Paul Cowser was always going well in Rush.
Yes, Kokoro would have been there, I suppose.
Kokoro would have been there with
Shane Thomas
and Dara then eventually, and then actually there was another one. Out in Bray. Lovely man. Legends run by, he ran the Man of War. Stefan, a legend. Another.
Is it Moriarty?
Yeah, Stefan Moriarty.
Lovely fella.
Gentleman.
Yes.
So, and in a way, Stefan gave me my first break in MMA, which we'll talk about again. But, so couldn't find a club at the time nearby. It was too far to go to Dublin. Blah, money was gone, all that shit. But, so at the time then, shit went the way it went, and the music thing stopped, and I had a bit of time. And to be honest, I was drinking a bit and all that as well, and I decided, fuck this drink shit. Gave it all up. I needed something to focus on, you know?
Yeah.
So I fucking got talking to a few people online. I was actually going to go to Team Rhino, and I got an email from a fella, Keith Cooper.
Yeah.
I was talking to him on Facebook or something, and he lived in America. And he was coming home. He was over there teaching control and restraint or something. I think he was only a blue belt at the time.
He was in New York, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think his marriage broke up over there and everything. He was coming home anyway, and he was starting up a club in Swords. So I was like, right, that's pretty cool. I knew Keith from he would have went to school with my sister.
Right.
So that was grand. So I don't know how it came up. He must have liked some of the same pages of an MMA or something. He knew he liked it anyway. But anyway, I reached out to Keith and said, when you're back, let me know. So he came back. He set up, and he was set up for, I think, just about 6 months. And I seen then a page come up. He had this club in Swords called Swords Fight Club. I was like, the fucking bollocks never get back to me. So I got on to Keith. He said, oh yeah, come up. So at the time then I was in a better position. I had a car. I was under myself again, able to drive. So I drove Swords. It was handy up the back way, up the airport way and all that. So I went up to Swords first night, and I'd never done jiu-jitsu. Now I knew I could strike from other things, obviously that security job and a few other things. I knew I could strike. I was always pretty good at strike, I went in, and the boys were doing jiu-jitsu that night. I'd only ever watched jiu-jitsu, and until you put your hands on jiu-jitsu, watching is not the same, as you know.
It's really not, no.
And I went in there, and I'm not joking you, I got thrown around the place.
Of course.
By lads that were only I think they were only at the 6 months, sure, they only started.
Yeah.
Keith was obviously, I think he was only a blue belt. He was a blue belt at the time, and Keith fucking controlled me in positions I've never felt. I just felt helpless.
Yeah.
Helpless. And looking back now, I was helpless against a blue belt.
Yeah.
But I felt totally and utterly helpless, and I fucking loved it. And I was like, fuck me, how can you do this to someone? How can you control someone like that, you know? And so I went away, I came home, and Alyssa will probably tell you, Alyssa's my wife. I came home with the biggest fucking smile on my face. And she's like, what is...
And for people who don't know, you'd have a good few pounds on Keith. Size-wise, like.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the time I would have. I say he's pounds of me now, looking at pictures of him, but...
But you know...
At the time, I would have. At the time, to be honest, actually, I fell into the whole gym weights thing.
Right.
I've always went to the gym. That's another thing. So it's not as if I fell into MMA. I've always been fit.
Yes.
I've always done the gym. I've always been doing me a bit of boxing. I've always been keeping fit. You know what I mean? Running, weights. But I ballooned to about 98 kilos, 96 kilos at my heaviest.
Right. Lean at that.
Not as lean as looking back now. No, it wasn't lean. I thought it was lean, but yeah, it was. I suppose.
Yeah, but you weren't fucking fat at that.
No,
weight,
I was probably about 22% body fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, and like, I couldn't wear fucking jeans for a while. That's how big my legs got, you know.
Yeah.
So listen, I hated it. So I went the first night to that, and I was quite heavy there that night. Yeah, I would have had weight on everyone nearly, to be honest, that night when I went in.
Yeah, but still you were.
I never considered myself big, but when you start with me and you see the weight class and all, quickly you realise, shit, you're in that bracket.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, I was quite big that night, and yeah, and he dominated me, and I would have had, as you said, probably 10 kilos on him. You know what I mean? So dominated me, destroyed me. Went home, loved it. I'd fucking, as anyone doesn't know, you wear a gi doing jiu-jitsu. It's the name of the garment you wear. Some people find that very funny, but I had a thing called gi rash all over my face that night. And it's not an STD. But I was the whole side of my face was fucking burnt. You know when you get the shoulder in for control?
So you have to condition to it, like, you know,
Keith
you don't get
was
that
obviously
after.
driving that shoulder into me for the night, like teaching me a lesson. So I had gi rash all over I think it was the right hand side of my face. I was like, fucking bastard. But it's like, how could you be so happy in the state you like? So that was grand. So I went back. I was out of work for a while in between jobs, doing that bit of security, doing other things, and I kept the thing going. So I was able to train. I was training 2 or 3 times a day. After 2 weeks, I just got stuck into it. I got really good at jiu-jitsu pretty quick. I'm lucky. Once I got the fundamentals down, the techniques came to me. So I was quite lucky. Yeah, so I got going rolling. I ended up holding my own. I don't be blowing my trumpet, but I ended up kind of being one of the best grapplers there. Yeah. Because I never grappled before. I started doing seminars with different people coming over. I loved it. I just got engrossed in the world of jiu-jitsu. So much so that I think I neglected my striking. And in hindsight, looking back now, I totally neglected my striking. But fell in love with jiu-jitsu. Started doing tournaments. I won all my tournaments I ever entered. I think, yeah, jiu-jitsu wise, I might have lost one maybe. Yeah. I'd done all the competitions in Ireland. Belfast, went up, won that. Just fucking, it clicked with me, like, fuck, and just took over my whole life, consumed me. Yeah, it tends to do that to people. Yeah, and this is before, like, it's as popular as it is now as such. Of course, yeah. So I was trying to get people to fucking join jiu-jitsu, but in the heel of the hunt, Keith was grand, but Keith was in swords. Keith's not a great businessman as such, and swords was struggling when it shouldn't have been, because he had the whole area there in swords. It's a fucking massive area there. Yeah, people, big population too, big catchment area. We got chatting one night, and I was saying to Keith, Navan hasn't got an MMA club. Has nothing. I said, I know people in Navan. I'm sure they'll come to give it a try just for me. You're from Navan originally, Slane area. Sure, you'll get heads up. So I said, why not do something? We'll go to Navan. He's like, well, look, I haven't got funds, but I said, look, I'll come in and you with it, get it going. So I found a unit in Navan. We joined our money together, our own pockets, and bought mats. Got mats. So that's all we had starting was mats in a fucking premises. You know what I mean? Actually, before we came, we got mats and all. We're getting ready for it. We done a night in the Palace, on the dance floor upstairs, just to test out, see how many people would turn up. I was quite friendly with the lads in the Palace. The owner, I never go to the Palace much or drink. I actually didn't even drink at the time, but the boys let me use the dance floor upstairs one night. And Keith came and he done a self-defense workshop, and he finished it with jiu-jitsu. So everyone turned up. We had lots, all kinds of girls, boys, men, women, everyone there, and a lot of people liked it. I don't know if it was for everybody, but when we opened the club, people knew we were coming before that. So the first night the club opened, it was packed. Yeah. It was great. It was actually a great idea just to do something like that before that. Club was packed, so myself and Keith partnered up and the club got it going. And I keep saying club because it wasn't a business. So I wanted to start a club. I didn't want another business. I was fucking pissed off at business at this stage. I was after doing how many years in businesses, and I said, oh, we'll do a club. Like I knew of other MMA clubs, but I said, we'll keep it a club. Membership will sign up. Blah, we'll keep a club form. So that was grand. Set it up as a club. It was going great. Then no one in the club obviously had ever had a fight. Now looking back now, I have issues with this with other clubs as well, but I said I'd take a fight because someone had to fucking have fighting experience in the club, you know. Yeah. This was after winning out the jiu-jitsu competitions, and I was holding my own strike, and I was sparring around the place with different people, and actually, I don't know, Paddy Daly, I don't know if you ever met him. I think so. He was in the army at the time. I think he's his own boxing club now, St Bernadette's up in Santry. Big shout out to Paddy, excellent club. He has All Ireland champions and everything coming out of there now. Paddy was doing this boxing thing with the army and everything as well. So I used to train a lot with Paddy. So I knew my hands were alright because Paddy was a really good boxer.
Yeah.
And I used to spar with Paddy a lot. And to be honest, like he was catching me, I was catching. But I knew my hands were not bad because I was doing alright with Paddy. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to take a fight then just to get on the map, really.
And had you not fought out of swords, like Swords Fight Club?
Yeah, sorry, just before we came to Navan.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking. Yeah.
So just before we opened the Navan Club, I had to fight. I might have 2 fights today. I might have one anyway. But so I was looking for a fight. Man of War was the big thing in Ireland at the minute, which goes back to Stephen Moriarty.
Yeah.
Very well run event, very respectful man.
Yeah, it's where I fought out of, yeah.
Superman. And contacted him. There was no event coming up at the time I wanted, but he booked me in for the next one. But in between that, I met Paul Cowser from Rush. Gentleman again, can't say enough good things about Paul. And Paul had a fight night in Rush every few months. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll give you a start. So this is before things are the way they are now. It wasn't.
Yeah, this is like a community hall type set. Yeah. It wasn't a Battlezone-esque type
Well,
deal.
it wasn't even as good as Battlezone.
Yeah, of course.
And you're talking rough and ready now. And the rules, like, now they have shin guards and they have bigger like gloves and all. At the time,
that would have been what, C class, was it? So
it was C class, like semi-pro kind of rules they used to call it C class. Now it was exactly the same as professional, but you couldn't elbow.
Yes. So
there was no difference, and you had 8-ounce gloves instead of 4.
Yes.
That was the only difference. Like, but now it's totally changed, which is for the better because amateurs starting off shouldn't be fucked into the deep end like that. Really.
Yeah, like we were. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
you know when you think about it, but sure that never crossed my mind. So I got paired against fighting this lad anyway, and Jesus Christ me. One of the Lawrences from Rush, not Paul, his brother. Sorry, I can't think of his name now. Paul's another excellent fighter. People should check him out. But he's fighting his brother. It's 2 great fighters, them Lawrence boys. But I went and I was fighting at middleweight. So I was 94 kilos or 96, whatever it was at the time. And I said, look, I can't fight light heavyweight. As big as it was, light heavyweight, as you know, them boys are 94 kilos, but they're really 100 kilos. You know what I mean? They're fucking huge.
Oh,
so
and the rest, yeah.
I was like, no way am I going light heavyweight. So I decided I'm going to have to cut 10 kilos. So I changed my training. And credit to Keith. Keith is actually a personal fitness trainer as well. So he helped me. We tailored a plan. I lost it really easy, actually, because I was obviously carrying a lot of muscle, so it was easy to cut down to that weight. You know what I mean? So I cut to 84. I actually cut to 88. And I cut the last 4 kilos then before the fight. And went to my first ever weigh and fucking, we stared your man out. And actually I had to go to his club because I was in Rush. Drove to Rush for the weigh in. Eyeballed me man out of it. Fucking loved every minute of it. Like, just the blood was coursing through your vein. I can't describe it to anyone who's never fought, but the weigh-ins are nearly better than the fight.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I can see
you have to cut, mate. You're after training so hard. You don't really know who you're fighting yet. You haven't fucking had eyes on them.
Eyeballs in the
coach. So I suppose the buzz was unbelievable. And like obviously I've been in a few scraps in my time, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I knew I was like the scrap, but I never knew like that man was training to fucking beat me and I was training to beat him. You know, it was a battle of skill. It wasn't just rough and ready and this kind of thing. So although you respected him, you just wanted to fuck them up, like, you know what I mean? In your head that's what you're thinking, but
that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, but that was my first fight. My attitude totally changed after. But went into that fight anyway. All my family were there. None of my family like fighting. My wife hates fighting. She was there. Some of her mates came. My mother and father came. Like, all not big fight fans at all. After that night, I beat you man in 2 minutes 30 seconds with a triangle choke.
Nice.
Arm in, triangle on the ground. And actually, I caught with a flying knee at the very start and broke his nose straight away. And then I could have finished with strikes looking back, but I took him to the ground. I said I was addicted to jiu-jitsu. I was determined to get a fucking submission because I never had an MMA fight before and I was after doing well in the jiu-jitsu, but got the arm in and choked him out. Fucking the adrenaline, but as you know,
best feeling in the world, yeah.
No, and this was just I'm fucking addicted now. I thought I loved MMA before that. Do you know what I mean? It's like having kids. You think you know what love is and you think you're going to love your child, but when the child is born in your arms, it's undescribable. It was a bit like that with MMA. I thought I loved MMA, but when I actually went in, competed and won.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I fucking loved MMA.
In front of your family,
yeah.
And all that, like. Yeah.
It was quite funny. The lad I was fighting, the launch shop, wasn't even his family. It was he's a traveller, but a lot of the crowd were travellers then to see him, and some of them were kind of having to go with my family after it and all, and.
Lovely.
No, but what was quite good was the Lawrence brothers came down and told him, look, what are you doing? This man beat me fair and square. We hugged, we shook hands down in the crowd. I'd never experienced anything like this after a fight before.
Yeah, class.
Proper honour, and just a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah, the way it should be.
There was a few lads having a go with me going out to the car park, and so he walked me out to my car. We fucking embraced the whole way. We talked about the fight.
Yeah,
he was like, "Your bollocks broke me nose straight away." He said, "To be honest, I was going to tap on you because I felt like I was drowning in my blood. All the blood was going down the back of my neck." And just talking to him, and I was like, "This fella is sound. Like, who else do you do that to?" And you chat to them after like that, and then he, so I was like, "This crowd over here in Russia are top notch." So loved every minute of it. Then I had my first fight at Man of War. Stefan, I trained hard for that, and I knew what was coming then. You know what I mean? But my mindset changed. I wasn't out to fuck people up after that then. I thought, I don't know, you learn from every fight, you learn from every training camp, you learn from every training session.
Yeah.
But my mindset changed. I was overhyped. I knew then, if that first fight had went more than the 2 minutes 30 seconds, I was fucked because I would have adrenaline dumped.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I could feel it like, even when I was squeezing for the choke, it wasn't like normal when I was training. I'd be in, tight, finished, done. I was sloppy. I looked back at my fight, I don't know how many times. I probably don't know if you looked at your own first fight, but
no, of course, yeah.
I dissected myself. I'm very self-critical anyway in everything I do. And I just fucking destroyed myself. And so people saying, "Would you relax? For fuck's sake, you won the fight." I was like, no, that was fucking, if this was this and that. So I went back to camp anyway, and I actually got a lot sharper, and got the Man of War fighting the middleweight again. Looking back, bad option. And to be honest, Keith was learning too. Keith never had a club either, and
of course, you're making your way.
Yeah, he never experienced weight cutting, and I could have been better prepared. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking the club or anyone. He didn't know, like.
Yeah, of course.
But I wasn't cutting weight properly either. But
and how were you cutting? Just as a matter of interest.
I was just fucking. I starved myself the first time.
Right.
Which is totally wrong. Second time, I was nearer the weight. I just fucking sat in the sauna.
Right.
Literally before the weigh-ins.
You didn't do any of the super hydration or anything like that?
Not then.
Okay.
After that I did, but not then. I didn't know. I was just fucking going whatever way I could. But again, looking back, I just felt like now, obviously he probably does do it now, but every club should be first in that, like, weight cutting. I have major issues with weight cutting. See, I don't think there should be weight cutting anymore. I think you should find a weight.
I'd be on the same page there, big time.
But anyway, yeah, I cut the weight for the second fight. Went in. The man I was fighting was from Cork, a Polish fella, Przemysl Shurgamatov or something like that. He did a weigh in through video. So it was only my second fight, and I've never experienced this before. So I never got to eyeball him like the last one. Didn't get a feel for him. Couldn't gauge his size. It's a different thing. Now, it was done through video weighing, but there's like a password you have to say in the video, and so you can't fake his weight. There's loads of shit, like, which you probably could fake.
Today's newspaper and a fucking all this
bullshit.
Shit. Yeah.
But anyway, he weighed in anyway. Never met him till night the fight. The fight had started, and he still hadn't turned up to the venue. And I think I was the second last fight. And just, I'd say about an hour before we were due to fight, this Polish crew roll in. They were all fucking massive. I never seen. I'm not joking. They were definitely touching 100 kilos.
Yeah.
And I was like, which one am I fighting? Like, you know what I mean? I was waiting for a smaller lad to come in behind him.
Yeah.
No such thing. So next minute I seen him getting introduced by Stefan and blah blah, and I was kind of looking on from the corner. I was like, fuck right. So my teammate, actually Paddy was cornering me that night. Paddy done the boxing, and Keith. Paddy goes out. He's a real nerdy man, funny man. He comes out, had eyes on your man there, blah blah. I was like, yeah, you're fucked.
Sound Paddy, nice one.
I was like, wait a minute, you're meant to be my coach. Yeah, man, you're fucked. Just go in there and do your best.
Who needs fucking enemies?
He's fucking huge. I was like, yeah, thanks Paddy, that's great. So I'm not joking you. It's the first time I ever experienced nerves like that. For some reason, there's this adrenaline buzzing on me. But looking back, sure, I was fighting in an hour's time. I must have went to the toilet maybe 8 times in that hour, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyone that says that it doesn't hit them or the fear doesn't hit them, it fucking does, like, I'm not gonna sit there and say, well, I did every fight and I loved every minute of it. I didn't. You shit yourself before the fight, and nearly that's what makes you do it again. Yeah,
no, I think so. And it's not as if you, like, the more you do, the easier it gets. It's almost the worse it gets.
Every fight is different. Every camp is different. Your head is different for every fight.
Yeah, of course.
So just to get your headspace right for each fight is different. You don't know what's happening on the day of the fight, the morning of the fight, the night before. Everything fucks with your head, as you know.
Yeah.
It's so intense.
Should I be eating this? Should I?
Yeah, did I do that right?
Should I fucking have I trained hard enough? Have I done this?
Am I doing that combo right? Do I remember that right? Stuff like that. But went out anyway. Fucking, he was out first. First time I seen him out his top on. So it was in Leopardstown Racecourse. I don't know if anyone knows that. There's a balcony upstairs, and the fighters came down the balcony into the cage. So eyes up on the balcony, having eyes on down on him in the cage. That was the first time I've seen him with obviously no top bra on.
Say, yeah.
Ripped to bits. Huge motherfucker. I was like, fuck this. But then I just thought to myself, fuck this. You know, I'm just going to go in and give it a go. Like,
yeah,
you know
do
what
what
I
you
mean?
can do, yeah.
It's not as if I've, like, what have I got to lose? You know what I mean? So I went in anyway. And he was fucking giving me major daggers, you know, trying his best at everything. But I think in a way that was a good thing. It kind of got me going, and the adrenaline was right. Everything it's hard to describe. Everything was in slow motion then. I only ever felt this twice. Two of my best fights, they both felt like they're in slow motion all the time. Other fights, my first fight didn't, it was like a blur. My second fight now, this felt, I can't describe it unless you fought maybe. He came out and he went to take, the bell rang anyway, touch close, blah blah. He came out and it was obviously he was much bigger. You could see it, like, but I caught him at a left straight away, and he tried to take my legs, take me down.
Yeah,
that was his thing, and it's hard. It was slow motion. Like, I seen him starting to take me down before he actually came to take me down. I don't know if that makes sense. I seen that he obviously made a movement for that.
Yeah, he telegraphed it in some
yeah,
sense.
And I literally moved at the same time. And I got him with a flying knee and a Muay Thai clinch at the same time.
Nice.
So
drove his head into your knee.
Drove my head into my knee. Like, oh, you're talking. This is all within 5 seconds of the fight.
Yeah.
And he collapsed. No, I didn't know he collapsed at the time. Wherever way we landed, I was still holding the back of his head, and he fell down on top of my 2 knees, and it looked like he was still trying to take me down. Yeah. And I landed with my back against the cage, and he was trying to take me down. And so I landed. There's only when I counted after. I fucking caught with 13 punches to the side of the head.
Fuck.
Sounds very fucking terrible when you say it out loud, but I caught him with 13. I counted him after on the video. Caught him with 13 of them, and he was out, like, but I didn't know that. You're waiting for the ref.
Of course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this was grand. The fucking ref obviously stopped it, blah blah blah, and he collapsed in a fucking ton of bricks on my feet, like. And obviously I was, first of all I was like, yes, I won, blah blah, great. Then I turned around and he was fucking out cold, and then I went from there. The ambulance were in. The whole event was stopped for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I've never seen this before, like, yeah. Everyone was coming to me, jeez, I've never seen that like that before. I was like, what? Like, fuck, right. So I was concerned for him then.
Yeah, of course,
because like I said, there's a kind of a camaraderie between fighters. After the fight, it's totally different than before the fight.
Well, you kind of, when you see him lying on a fucking pile on the ground, you kind of see yourself. Like,
yeah, that could have been me.
Just as easily have been used, you know? Like, if you had yinged when he had yanged or whatever.
Exactly,
like,
you know. So anyway, he was down, and he got him into an ambulance, got him out, so that was grand. I won, and sure, fucking people loved it, like, you know. That's what they do, they love violence. But that was grand. So I went up to see him before the ambulance took him, and they brought him round at this stage. We couldn't talk. He broke his jaw, and I just went down to him. He'd broken English, and I said, look, I'm very sorry. And he kind of grabbed me, he pulls me down, and he's like, don't be sorry. He said, you done your job, you done what you're meant to do, like, you know. Yeah. I was like, oh, jeez, I didn't mean to do that. And he said, look, shit happens, but not in broken English. You can imagine.
Of course,
like,
yeah, broken English or broken jaw.
Like, no. And he hugged me.
Yeah.
And this is the second time in a fight, like, that happened the last fight. I was like, this is fucking mad, like, you know. But I was talking to him online after that and all, and he was fucking great, like, you know, 100% nice chap. He actually didn't fight. I don't think he fought again after that. Understandably so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you said, it was amateur really at the time. It was amateur, but it wasn't really amateur as such when you think about the rules.
Yeah, well, it's like GAA in Ireland.
Yeah.
Like, it's you know, yeah, it's amateur, but I mean, what's the difference between them and a professional sports player? Like?
So that was grand. Poor old chap, I felt sorry for him. But yeah, he's 100%. But yeah, he had enough then. He said, fuck this. So that was grand. Then went on and just researched things. But I got to fight then for the middleweight belt in Man of War straight away after. Everyone loved it so much. There was a big fucking online stream. People I don't even know were asking for me to fight for the belt. It's mad.
Yeah.
And through the heel on, loads of shit went on anyway. But Jesus, what was your man's name now? That's shocking. I can't remember. You were on the card actually.
I can't remember the lad I was fighting. Never mind the lad you were fighting.
Was that night? Or did another fight between it? Well, anyway, yeah, went to fight for the middleweight belt. Fucking, your man never weighed in.
Yeah, I remember all that fucking debacle. All right.
Yeah, I still agreed to fight him.
Yeah,
he's obviously way overweight. Like, he just laid and prayed him. He didn't even hit me. Like I caught him out actually a flying kick. He took me down, laid and prayed on me for the fucking 3 rounds. Basically, I couldn't get out from under him. I didn't take any damage. He didn't hurt me, but he won the fight obviously on points. And I was kind of pissed off with that. Like, I think a lot of shit happened, but in the end, now no disrespect to anyone, Steph, or anyone that runs the event, it wasn't that safe. And it was only after I saw him, you probably know Peter Lavery.
Oh, but
He'd be involved with Team Rhino. He runs
Vaguely,
I think it is Coalition MMA up at the north. He's a respected referee in Ireland. He'd be a pioneer in MMA in Ireland.
right.
Peter Lavery, an amazing man. And he messaged me one day on Facebook and said, "What do you mean he never weighed in?" And I said, "He never weighed in." And he's like, "What the fuck was the fight on for?" He wasn't reffing that. Peter usually refs every event in Ireland.
Yes.
He's like, "Why the fuck did you fight him?" And I said, "Oh, I just wanted to fight. My family were coming. There was tickets sold." And
What people don't understand as well, you're out in the fucking camp. You're after selling the tickets. You're after, you thought about nothing else for the last couple of months.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But Peter kind of sold to me then. He's like, "Don't ever fucking do that again."
Yeah.
So he's a legend of a man too. Can't say enough good things about Peter. But yeah. So I was like, yeah, you know what, he's fucking right. So then I looked into things more. I went down to welterweight then. I had 6 fights in total. Like, went down to welterweight then, and that's when a lot of things happened. So probably leading a few things here. So the MMA was what it was, going great. The welterweight was going well. I was doing actually pretty. I lost one fight to a friend of mine, actually, A.O. Daly. He bet me. I lost twice at welterweight. A.O. was a great friend of mine. Actually trains Team Rhino now. Lovely chap. But he caught me in a triangle. Happens to anyone, you know. Actually happened to Rush. I'd actually had a title fight coming up in Belfast. Before that, I had a fight in Belfast up at what you call the thing in Belfast up north,
The Odyssey.
No, the fighting organisation.
Oh fuck.
Jesus, I've a brain freeze there. Sorry, they're the best organisation, probably the best run event in the country.
Clan Wars.
Clan Wars, awesome event.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing event, Clan Wars. But went up for my first fight in Clan Wars, my first fight ever at 77. It was in the Ulster Hall, sold out. I think it was 2,000 people.
Class.
Unbelievable. You do a big entrance, big screens.
The whole lot, the pyrotechnics, the fucking works. Like,
loved it. So I knew it was a big show because I've been following it online the whole time.
Yeah.
And so that was my pinnacle. As if I get on that fucking show, I'm happy. Like, that's the biggest show to me in Ireland at the time. That's the shit. Like.
Well, next up after that would have been, was Bama even as big as it was?
No,
now?
there was no Bama. It was Andy's show, Battlezone.
But above...
Oh, you Cage Contender, sorry.
Cage Contender, that's the other one.
Yeah, no, shit happened with them in the end and all that stuff. But yeah, Cage Contender. But I thought Clan Wars was far more professional. It was unbelievable the way they ran the whole thing. I was fighting amateur time and it felt like a pro. They were treating me like, you know, it was amazing.
Yeah. But even like they didn't give you a medal. They gave you, was it like a little Celtic cross statue plaque type thing? Or...
I just don't even know where any of that stuff is. But yeah, you get something.
But you know what I mean? But it was fucking class. Everything they did was just
but when you weigh in,
right,
the food and everything for your... Like, I know it sounds like an obvious thing, but no one had that, like, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Not for amateurs either. But they mixed their event, amateurs and pros together. So you had amateurs start night, pros at the end of the night, you know what I mean? But went up there, I can't remember the lad I was fighting again, another northern lad. I do, Dion Smith, I think was his name. Real young prospect coming up in the north. But I'd never been 77 kgs in my life, I think, when I was a kid. I don't know, I can't remember, like. Yeah. So I was like, I looked into it all, I thought, right, I'm going to have to get down to 77. These motherfuckers at middleweight are huge. That loss for the belt at Man of War brought it home to me. I couldn't do much when he was laying and praying on top of me, you know what I mean? I just didn't feel I was strong enough to deal with these boys when I got to that position. Wherever, if I could catch them when I'm striking like I done before and it was happy days. But on the ground, the weight advantage counts. Like, it really, really does. Yeah. It shouldn't, really, now looking back on it again. And
we'll put it this
I'm that much better at jiu-jitsu now, it probably wouldn't be as bad.
But look, if you're equally matched or well matched,
exactly.
which you should be in a fight.
The weight is a big advantage.
Of course,
you know. Like, I mean, you're talking. So he was probably 20 kilos more than me, you know, 18.
Easy, yeah.
But anyway, that brought it home to me. I need to be a big fucker at middleweight.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, welterweight. So, and I loved welterweight anyway. I was always a big fan of welterweights. Like in your GSP at the time, you'd fucking Carlos Condit is another hero of mine. Yeah. National Bone Killer. He's actually making a comeback, which is great. There's so many good welterweights. But yeah, so welterweight was like, I always envisioned myself getting to welterweight someday. So this happened to be the time. So put a good camp in, but I started cutting massive weight for this. So yeah, done the right way. Well, I thought this time wasn't perfect, but
a better way, say.
Done a better way. So yeah, I've done the water loading, as you said. So if people don't know, so you're weighing in on, I think I was fighting on the Sunday. So Monday I drank 8 litres of water. Tuesday you drink 6 litres of water. Wednesday I think I did 3 litres of water.
You went down as opposed to up.
Oh yeah, you start off high and go down. And that's how we done it all from there then.
Right.
Come by Friday, I went in on Saturday. Friday, all I could drink is a cup of water.
Yeah.
Now I'm going toilet the whole time, all week. Like, you can imagine how I'm pissing the whole time.
Yeah.
So because you've drank that much at the start and you've activated your system, you keep flushing your system out. It just keeps flushing. I got this from on American wrestling websites. That's where I got.
Right.
Right. Because that's where, if you want to know,
cutting started,
that's where cutting starts. So I said, I go to the source. So that was grand. Then I done the whole got the carbs down. So I'd literally take 50 grams of carbs, so I'd have enough carbs to train, enough energy just to train, because you know what, excess carbs turns to fat. So I was like, right, I'm going to get lean as a motherfucker. So actually, physically looking, I probably looked the best I've ever looked. I looked like a fucking model, like I was ripped.
Yeah.
But I didn't, energy wise, was depleting towards the end of the week. I didn't feel good. I done like a light sparring training session on the Thursday. Now bear in mind, it was the middle of a cut too. But
and how much did you cut?
I cut 13 kilos in
13 kilos.
Yeah.
Fucking 13 kilograms
in less than 2 weeks. So yeah,
fucking hell.
About 13 days, 12 days.
Yeah, but Jesus Christ, that's colossal.
From
welterweight, or from fucking middleweight to welterweight. Like.
Well, it wasn't even middleweight. I was, Jesus, what was I? So I was nearly 90 kilos, sure. Started cutting around then.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened, sure. Yeah. I know, it was 12 and a half kilos or something. We're not going to argue about half a kilo. But yeah, so it was fucking horrible, to be honest. It's actually the first time I ever seen my wife cry when I was doing a weight cut. Coming up near the fight, I still had 5 or 6 kilos, which is a lot now when I think about it. At the time, I didn't think it was. I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
So I thought, fuck, 6 kilos, like. But yeah, so I was cutting away. It was coming off now, you know. That was a good thing. Got 8% body fat.
But sorry, when I said cutting, I meant specifically in the week up to the fight, like.
Yeah, so in the fight, then I started my water load, and I was cutting water most of that week.
Sorry, so that's what I meant. I thought you'd cut fucking 13 kilos for the weigh-in, like for the previous week, like.
No, I'd say I started off that cut the week before the whole thing at maybe 9 kilos left to cut.
Right.
It's still high. It's too big.
Yeah, 9 is massive.
I cut my carbs, then cut my body fat down for the start. I got down to 8% body fat. I felt weird actually. 8% body fat. It's hard to describe. Even training.
Taut, kind of.
I fucking felt every dig to the stomach more. I felt everything more.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually it just didn't feel like it used to feel. But anyway, cut down. Yeah, started a high weight cutting the water. Got it down pretty quickly. I lost. By the Thursday, I had about 4 kilos of 5 left. I can't remember what it was. I used to write it all down. But anyway, yeah. So then I had to hit the bath on the Thursday night. I went training in the
with what, Epsom salts or something?
Yeah, so the sauna's doing. I done a full training session. Now, when I say full training, I wasn't taking impact on it. I was just moving, getting the sweat going. I lost a bit of weight there. Came home, said, right, I'm going to have to lose a kilo or so here, like 2 kilos. So I got a kilo of Epsom salts and a bath as hot as I could take it. Now I read all this online, and rubbing alcohol.
As you do.
Filled the bath up, opened the pores up, got into the bath. Well, I'm not joking. I thought it was going to be a fucking stew after this thing, like, you know what I mean? It was so hot. But this is another point that got me into. I'd always dabbled in meditation, right? I was always into a little bit of meditation. Never one of these like massive meditation people, but I used to like meditating. So I in the saunas actually that week too. There was one episode where I was in the sauna and I stopped sweating. It was dry like coming out of the sauna.
Yeah.
But to stay in the sauna, I used to do meditation.
Of course, yeah.
So it's not meditation like I didn't have the music going or the chant going or any of that shit. Like, there's different types of meditation, as you know. I started off doing like a meditation with numbers. So I'd have numbers going in my head. It's a strange way. It was, before you knew it, 10 minutes, 15 minutes would pass. Like, so I'd be counting numbers and then I'd get to a certain number and then I'd count to another number and then I'd add them numbers and I'd count to that number. I was just fucking with my mind, keeping my mind busy basically.
Right.
But while doing that, I was totally in another planet, zoned out. You forget you're in the sauna, like.
Yeah. You were focusing on the numbers there as opposed to the breath, which should be more typical.
Yeah, well, the breathing was always. I wasn't doing the breath thing in the sauna at the time. So that was fine. But then, that was in the saunas. And then when I got to the Epsom salt bath, back to that again, I started the breathing. So this night particularly, I said I was cutting a lot of weight, and I was in the bath, and it was fucking horrendous. I can't describe how horrendous this was. It was fucking horrendous.
And this is what, the
Thursday.
2 nights before the fight?
2 nights before the weigh-in.
Oh, the weigh-in, of course, yeah.
So that was grand. So got into this bath. Fucking, just so that doesn't scald you. As hot as you can get it before you get 3rd-degree burns. Put it that way. All the Epsom salts, rubbing alcohol. Jesus Christ, sure, the alcohol alone was burning before I got in. So I got in and I was horrendous. But I said, right, I'm going to fucking do this. I'm never going to miss weight, because, you know, I just have in my head, I'm turning up, I'm going to make weight, I'm going to fight. So this was grand. So I was in the bath and I started doing my breathing thing, and before I knew it, I was just fucking gone. Another planet. Can't describe it. It was short, sharp, deep breaths. It was just, at the time I didn't know what I was doing, you know. But I researched it after. I was like the holotropic type of meditation, which I knew nothing about, never knew existed, but I really kind of opened up to it a little bit that night. But it's hard to describe. I'd fucking crazy. I thought they were dreams at the time.
Okay.
I was gone, like, I was on another planet. I was in
tripping, like.
Fucking tripping. You could describe it as tripping, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was just mad shit going on. Like,
was that from the breathing or the fucking dehydration or
stroke? It's all both, as I found out later on. Which I yeah, it was from the dehydration and the breathing, which basically is what it's all about, really. To be honest, fasting and breathing through meditation, you know. But anyway, so I didn't know any of that properly at the time. I was kind of dabbling bits and pieces, but I never knew about holotropic breathing or any of that stuff. But yeah, it was fucking crazy. And then I came out of the buzz. And I'd been in the bath for ages, and Liz was banging on the door, and she came in, and she said I looked like death. Literally looked like death. Like, she said, how can you sit in the bath that long? She put her hand in, she's like, fucking, you're crazy, like, you know. So
after it having cooled down, obviously. From
exactly.
It, like, yeah.
So then she's like, right, get out of the bath. I said, I can't fucking move. And she's like, what do you mean you can't fucking move? And she said I looked like one of these Auschwitz fucking...
I'd well believe it, yeah.
My chin was gone, everything. It was coming to a head then, you know what I mean? The whole weight cut thing, the whole week, the whole 2 weeks. So,
yeah. And
I was like, she had to help her pull me out of the bath. Like, I was like a snail coming out of the bath, like slid along the bath. I flopped down. I literally, if I wanted, I couldn't do anything. Lay on the cold tiles on the bathroom floor, and it was like heaven. I was just like, oh. And then I panicked, said, no, I need towels, I can't get warm again, I need to keep sweating through me. See, my plan was to have the bath, go to bed with tracksuit on, all the towels on, and keep sweating through my sleep.
Right, yeah.
So I keep cutting through
and
the
wake
night.
Up dead.
So, yeah, it was going really well. So yeah, Alyssa's just started crying. She said, Kevin, what are you doing? This fucking state, you look nearly dead. Like, she said, I've seen dead people look better than you.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's gonna be grand, I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna fucking, like, when you're zoning in and something like that.
Oh yeah, it's fucking like the
I'm
shit
making
you do, like.
fucking weight. If I have to chop my arm off,
yeah,
I'll fucking make that weight. So anyway, when I commit to something, I always, as I said at the start, I fucking commit. I'm all in. So got down anyway. I actually lost 4 kilos, believe it or not, and no, 3.5 kilos that night. Sleeping that night with the sweating. I got into the bed with the tracksuit on in the spare bed. Obviously, there was no way I was getting into the bed beside her. I went to the spare room. I wrapped myself in blankets. I had my tracksuit on, I had my sweatsuit on, and a duvet wrapped around me. And again, I had a fucking crazy sleep, like tripping again. You know what I mean? It was fucking mad, like just mad. But woke up the next morning and weight was coming down good. So I drank a little bit of water. I was trying not to drink any water at this point, you see, but I had to. I was fucked. Drank a bit of water, but then I said to myself, I'll get rid of that water later. You know, just...
Oh, when you said a bit of water, like a sip or a mugful or what?
Yeah, you're talking probably 3 mouthfuls.
Yeah.
And the first one I think I spat out, I just rinsed my mouth and spat it out. But
yeah, well, that'd be more typical, like.
Yeah, but it didn't do what I needed to do. I had to physically swallow a bit of water.
Yeah.
But look, we're going good. It was horrific. The whole thing was fucking horrific. But got to the last day of the weight cut anyway, and I got a bit of energy going that day. I ate carbs. And so I was always of the opinion that you can't eat, you put on fat, you'll fucking... The carbs go through you so quickly and the energy burns off that quickly. You actually can eat a certain amount of carbs. Now, I know all this now, but at the time I didn't.
Yeah.
But done the training and all that night. So the next morning, I was due to go to Belfast to weigh in. So I had to lose, I think it was 1.5 or something kilos.
Right.
And I was fucked. But went down to body trim. Big old shout to Adrian there. Adrian opened up early, gave me the facilities for free, the whole lot. I walked in, he said, "What the fuck are you cutting that else for, you crazy bastard?" I said, "I need to use your sauna." So I done a light workout with a sauna suit on, tracksuit on, got the sweat going, went into the sauna then. And yeah, I was there for a while. I was there till I had to get it off, simple as. Several attempts, kept coming out too early. Last attempt, fucking came out at bang on weight. So that was grand. Wrapped myself up again, rinsed my mouth out in spat water again, you know what I mean?
Yeah, treat yourself.
So wrapped up in the back of the car the whole way up, got a lift up obviously to Belfast, didn't eat or touch anything. The weigh-in was a fucking 12 o'clock, like, it was horrendous, the worst day of my life. Hanging around at the weigh-ins, eventually, I tell you now, I was on another planet during the whole thing. My man I was fighting came in, and I couldn't have cared if he was going to kill me there and then. I was just like, I need to hit that scales. I don't care who's here. I wasn't, nothing phased me. I was just looking at the scale. Tunnel vision. I need to get on the scale. You know what I mean? So made the scales, made fucking weight. Happy days. Now, that's the first part of weight cutting that was wrong anyway. But in general, people have worse stories than that, I'm sure. Some people nearly fucking have died. But my rehydration, that's the whole other kettle of fish. So I researched a lot of the weight cutting. Didn't research a lot of the way.
I
didn't have the Oralite, but I knew I couldn't take too much too quick. Obviously, now I had carbs now with me. I had pasta and stuff pre-prepared. I had everything pre-prepared, but I didn't have enough salts, sodiums, or electrolytes.
Yeah.
Not by far, which is the main important thing. And plus, you can only take so much of that at a certain time, and so like obviously I learned all this after that, but. My rehydration was terrible. I shat myself that night. If you, obviously, I don't know if it ever happened to you or do you know, but when you cut a lot of weight and you're trying to rehydrate, you've only 24 hours to rehydrate, you can't flood the body with stuff straight away. Or it'll just say, "What the fuck are you doing?" And it's just basically, you literally fucking shit it out yourself.
Yeah.
It's we can't deal with this either, so fuck you, get that stuff back out of me, you know? So it's horrendous. So anyway, got through that, eventually started to come back to myself. It was 12 o'clock that night, I think. I started to feel human again. Stayed up, had me watching timer every hour to drink, getting me stuff going again. By this stage, I had got Vitagro.
What's Vitagro?
So a lot of cyclists use it. So basically, it's like the Oralite. It has electrolyte, sodium, salt. Cyclists use it. A friend of mine was a cyclist, and he said, "Fucking, why haven't you got Vitagro?" Like, yeah. It's a supplement, basically. It's a brand. I don't know if it's a brand name or is it whatever it is, but yeah, I got Vitagro, and I started drinking that, and Jesus Christ, the difference. But it was too late.
Yeah.
I should have been doing that straight after
when you get off the scales, yeah.
So, and the other thing I done actually made a mistake was I ate red meat that night.
Okay.
Red meat is a no-go because your body works so hard to process red meat.
Right.
So my body was concentrating. I only found all this out after now, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't know that about the red meat myself.
Thing. Your body works so hard to process that red meat that instead of rehydrating you and getting your body back to a level where you want to be, it's working on, let's break down this red meat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
you're giving it a job to do when there's more important work to be done.
Yeah, exactly. So I should have had fucking salmon and fish and turkey and, you know what I mean, white meats, but I didn't. So I think most lads would think, right, steak, get back in, fill you up, protein in steak. There is protein, but as I learned again, there's different types of proteins. Proteins work in different ways, digest it in different ways. So anyway, great lesson to learn. Tough way to learn it, but brilliant. Learned so much from this, but made the fight anyway in the end of it.
I'm sorry, so you were weighing in, you had to weigh in at what, 77?
77.
And what were you, when you were fighting basically, what weight was you about?
So I got back to 84.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, overnight.
7 kg in pure water, fuck me.
Yeah, pretty much. But looking at it now, when I done it the other times, I was back to 88. But I obviously cut weight totally different. So the first time I made welterweight, I was 77, got to 84. And then after that, when I was cutting weight to welterweight, I rehydrated properly, obviously, and knew what I was doing. I was 88. So you can see the advantage there coming in after doing it properly.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the whole key. But anyway, yeah, so I was trying to, anyway, got to that fight. Worst fight in my life. I won, but it's probably still the worst fight in my life. Came in, I don't know, was it because of the weight cutting all as well? I wasn't back to full strength at all, but I had injured my foot in that training camp. And the only way you get medical clamours are one of the best at doing medicals before they check you over. And I had to hide my foot. I had a big lump on my foot, and it was my big toe was fractured, like, and I got this little lump on it because obviously I kept using it, and you know the way you get this fucking lump forms. And
it's like I don't know what it is. Like is it a hematoma? Or
it's full of.
Is it a calcium thing? Or?
Yeah, it's fucking. It just swelled up. Like,
is it akin to cauliflower ears? Is that the is it?
No, I think it's because of the fracture, and I think it's trying to protect itself, isn't it? It's like a callus, but it's like watery.
Okay. I don't know. I never had it. So
it forms around the break, and as far as I know from reading up, it's trying to protect the area that's broken.
Okay.
It's trying to reinforce it as such, but obviously I wasn't letting it. But I don't know kicking for the last week of the thing anyway. But anyway, I had to walk.
Yeah.
But I got to that anyway, so I had to hide my foot. So I went into the doctor's thing, right? So I had my bag with me going in purposely. I made it like look like, oh, I'm just here with my bag. I need my fucking medical. So you do your medical, so that's grand. Done the medical. But when I was doing the medical, I put the bag on top of my foot.
Yeah.
At the bottom of my seat.
Yeah.
So your man checked me on, he checked on me, but he never went down as far as my feet look, you know, because I was saying if he sees this now. But he done my heart rate was all over the place, and that's because of my weight cut.
Right.
And my blood pressure wasn't right either, and he said, you're not fucking, there's no way I can
clear you.
And then, lucky enough, Keith that was with me, he said, look, he's only still rehydrating properly, he's still not fully hydrated. He's not on till, I forget what, I wasn't started the car, I was middle of the car, near the end or whatever. He said, look, he still has 2.5, 3 hours, because you're there very early before the fights, as you know. And your man goes, look, come back to me in 2 hours. And if you're not on your way better, you're not fighting, like, you know.
Yeah, simple as.
You're not hydrated properly, so. God, fuck, kept rehydrating, what can I do? Just kept it going, and came back, and he done a test again, and it was like, it was borderline, as your man told me.
Close enough.
Yeah, no, it wasn't dangerous. I don't think he would let me if it was dangerous, but got to fight anyway. So went down to the cage anyway. Started the fight. What did I start with? Fucking leg kick.
Yeah. Old habits die hard.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel pain on it, but
did you land with your foot, your shin? Or?
I landed with my foot, of course I did, right across the fucking side of his knee. But when I put my foot back and you go to step, the step isn't there. You know that kind of feeling?
Yeah.
So Dion was a great grappler. Lovely chap again, Dion. Great grappler. Grabbed me. First time in my life I was ever suplexed. This is actually online. People can go and watch this. I think all my fights are online, but you can go and watch this. Like, you fucking suplex me.
In case I forget to ask at the end, what would you find them under? Like,
just clan
just Google.
If you Google Kevin Booth clan wars,
yeah.
I've seen it a few times. It's not better than watch yourself getting suplexed. But fair play to him. Suplexed me, took me down loads of times. But lucky enough, again, my addiction kicked into my jiu-jitsu. I was so lucky, man. He was on top position all the time. Obviously I was depleted, like, but I was threatening. My hips were moving. Actually, they say in the commentary and the thing when you're listening to it, look at his hips, he knows what he's doing. Educated hips or something they call me. But I was never stationary, always looking, and I was at my own weight now, so it wasn't like before where your man laid and prayed on me.
Yes.
I felt like I was able to get butterfly, I was able to get move, I was able to turn my hip. I wasn't just getting flat. I wasn't getting flattened.
Yeah.
So that was great, yeah. So I was on the ground, getting destroyed, getting suplexed, getting fucking slammed. But I was threatening all the time. So I felt really good at the end of the first round.
And you were on your back for all of the first round and most of it? Or?
Pretty much, yeah. Getting fucking hammered. But still,
maybe getting an arm, maybe
I was
getting
threatening the whole time. I nearly had an arm, actually. And I nearly had a Kimura. So yeah, I was threatening, and I felt good about it because I knew he wasn't going to pass my guard, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, I knew all he was trying to do was ground and pound. And I watched a few of his videos online before the fight, and that's what he does. He's a good wrestler and he grounds and pounds you. But he didn't have that for me in the submission. I fucking knew it, like. So I came back to the corner fucked. And I made a mistake in this. I started training with another team as well. I don't know if you know Team Sapo. Rafael Natal Sapo was in UFC, recently retired.
Yes, I actually trained a bit of jiu-jitsu with you up there. Was that those guys?
Morsigo, yeah. Did you come to me one night?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that? I forgot about that, actually, yeah. Nice bunch of lads.
That was the first time I rolled with a black belt.
Oh, was it? You never told me that.
Did you? It would have been, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was that at the seminar or just with the lads up in the gym in Dublin?
No, that was just up with the lads in the gym.
Yeah, I remember it now. Yeah, I just remember looking, two fucking cultures coming up.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good night,
fucking
actually.
wall-to-wall Brazilians.
The warm-up was the most impressive thing of them boys. You remember that? You're doing backflips over each other.
That's right,
yeah. It was pretty cool, like. But I started training with them boys, but I fucked up and I had them in my corner as well. But I wasn't training with them long enough.
I know what you mean.
And I went back to my corner and them telling me one thing and my own coach telling me another thing and I was thinking another fucking thing and things are just fucking the worst corner situation you could possibly have. I don't even think anyone gave me any fucking water now that I think, but it was just too much shit going on. So in the end,
too many chiefs.
Yeah, so in the end I just said, look, I'm going to submit the cunt. That's what I said to them, I think. But that was grand. Went out anyway. He went to take me down again, which I knew he would. I actually put myself in a position for it this time. He slams you every time. He loves the spectacular slam, which is fucking great. So he picked me up and he fucking slammed me. As he slammed me, I tied up the key lock. Anyone that doesn't know what it is, it's a key lock. It's great control position from the bottom. You can sweep with it, you can submit with it, but you're able to get it. I always find the key lock easy to get for some reason. I don't know why, but I don't think you can watch the video. The boys didn't even know what this submission was at the time. I got like a reverse key lock, right? So from the bottom, he was on top of me. I got the key lock on the way down, and I got, so basically I was trying to bend his elbow over towards the back of his head.
Okay.
Right. But I had this key lock. It was like a Kimura, but kind of from a funny position where you wouldn't really do it. And you just come over from side control, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so what, you have him in
step
your full
over the head and
guard,
finish. I had him in my full guard.
Yeah.
And I caught this key lock. So it wasn't technically a Kimura as such, it was a key lock grip.
Yeah.
And I don't know what, he was pressing in on me. I was like, alright. So he's pressing me, and I got the key lock locked like.
Yeah.
And I put my hip out, thinking, right, I'll use it to sweep. But I caught him, whatever way I caught him in my leg, he wasn't.
You knew you could submit him.
I knew I could submit him, but I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
And I pushed it up pretty deep now. And I said it to him, don't make me break your arm. This is in the middle of the fight. And he was like, fuck you. And I never forget it, like. And he went to fucking smash me again. And I said, I think you can see it in the video. I was talking to him. I said, I'll fucking break your arm. I'll take your arm home or something I was saying to him. So I just fucking went for it then, you know what I mean? And it was actually Peter Larvey was refereeing in that fight. And just as I went to push for it, he's like, oh, okay. He tap, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was great to get that submission. But after worst camp of my life, worst way I cut my life, and I ended up getting a W, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just the fucking fight game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the fight game. But yeah, I went on from there. I learned so much about weight cutting properly. Went on. I actually fought for another belt then against Jeff. I can't think of Jeff's second name. He was a champ for ages, undefeated. Fucking winning the fight. I went for a Kimura, but I didn't secure side control, and he actually was able to take me back because I didn't hold it right, and he fucking got rear naked on me. Fucking lost again. So 2 title fights I fell short. Yeah, but I was overly excited for that fight.
That's kind of hard not to be, though,
no,
is it?
Boys, I felt good the whole way through. I trained really well. When we first started striking, I knew I was hurting him with my strikes, and his had no impact on me whatsoever. I felt good in letting him hit me. Then I slammed him, jumped on him, went for the Kimura, and I got choked out.
Yeah,
so
cruel.
People might say, well, it's not cruel. Look, the other lad annihilated me before the fight and I won. So
yeah.
As you said, it's the fight game, you know what I mean? Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But what was the position before submission? You know, that's what they say, and it's nothing truer, like, you know.
Yeah, well, it all falls back onto the fundamentals, isn't it? The basics.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, they're good run in the MMA. Look, you know, like six fights was pretty good. And then I got an off-turn pro. Cage Warriors approached me.
Okay.
They're coming to Dublin. Cage Warriors at the time was the biggest event in Europe, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
Pretty cool event. Got an I think I was talking to you anyway, I was saying to you.
Yeah, I remember it, yeah.
Yeah, I rang you, I said, Frano, I'm going pro. He said, don't do it. But I said, fuck it, like, how often you ever going to get a chance to do it? But in the Hill Hunt, there's meant to fight a lad called Rob Leybourne. He was a Marine from England.
Right.
It was New Year's Eve in Dublin. It was the night Neil Seary won his belt.
Okay.
Cage Warriors. But I fucking tore my meniscus. And I didn't realise it. And simple thing, hopping out of a fucking van.
Meniscus is what, in the knee?
It's in your knee.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking squidgy little thing in your knee. But never heard of it till this. But tore my meniscus. Didn't know what it was. Just I was actually limping for 3 months. I went to the sports injury clinic, got fucking MRIs, loads of shit done, and in the end I met this surgeon, and he started off by saying we'd never operate on anyone unless we really had to, and then he's like, oh, we're going to have to operate on you.
Fuck.
But I researched it then, so it seemed like the meniscus has no blood flow.
Okay.
So even if you do injure it, it's very hard to heal. So if you have an operation on it, it takes a long time for it to heal.
It's like a tendon or something, is it?
Yeah,
or
it's like a squish.
Does it connect
It's like a piece of calamari is the way it's described to me.
Is like the bottom and top part of the knee? Does it join?
It's in the joint, right in the middle of the joint, like a rubber.
Oh, it runs through the joint.
Yeah.
Another one, yeah.
Looks like calamari is the only way they could describe it to me.
Right.
And yeah, so anyway, I was all ready to go for the operation. I had no insurance, so I was paying for myself. Got the money organised, all that. Then I thought to myself, fuck it, I'm going to spend this money on this, blah, blah, blah. I said, right, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to wait a while. And I was working, actually, it was very busy. I was actually working for a company doing sound, staging and lighting and stuff at the time. Again, just got into it as a necessity in between jobs. And it was hard work, but I was up and down off things and it was fucking killing me for the week. But I persevered, and after a while it started not to feel as bad. The limp went away. I had a limp for 3 weeks. The limp started to go away. I didn't even notice at that time until someone said to me, "You're not limping." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not."
Yeah.
Time passed. Just to get to the brunt of it, fucking 9 months passed. I was training on and off, but not really. And after about 9 months, I went to do a BJJ session, and I was fucking grand. My knee was fine. The pain was gone.
Yeah. Happy days.
I was like, "Fuck! If I had the operation, he told me it would be a year and a half."
Yeah.
But so some way, I don't know how it happened or what happened, it healed itself basically. To this day I have no major issues with it, so
Good stuff, touch wood.
Yeah, so it was nothing, but that put off my professional debut. Rescheduled for a professional debut again. And who was I meant to fight that time? I can't remember who it was actually. And then the Cage Warriors thing went fucking wallop. Don't know if you remember that.
No.
Cage Warriors, it's only coming back now actually. Cage Warriors dissolved, and then that Irish fella that's in Cage Warriors ended up buying them all out.
Was there an issue there about lads not getting paid or something after?
There was loads of issues. I think there was issues all over the place, and
right.
So that never happened. And then, yeah, I gave up MMA. Then I said I was saying 2 to 3 times a day. I was getting into it all, and then myself and my wife had been married for a long time. We decided we were going to start trying for a family. That takes a lot of time, as you know. It took over my life.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We're lucky enough we had our little girl then. She was quite sick when she was born, but we got through that. Then we had a surprise second child who came right a year after Ruby Rose. And then it was like fucking MMA just kind of, I put it off, and now it's been 2.5 years, you know what I mean?
Fuck yeah, it sickens
Time
me as well.
goes,
You clock up the time,
yeah.
Fuck.
But I'd love to get back into. I'm going to go back into jiu-jitsu only now. MMA now. I work for myself now. If I get injured in MMA, sure, my income's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you know, MMA is a funny sport. A lot of the lads are on the dole. I would say 90% of professionals are on the dole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think McGregor has kind of skewed the public's perception of what it is to be a fighter. You know, if you're anyway half decent, you're driving nice cars and you have a nice house. Do you like
I know loads of pros and they're fucking broke as fuck.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they have kids and I don't know how they're doing it. They're living on welfare, but I don't know how they're doing it. And I seen it myself, because when you're in there, it's so fucking full on. You believe in yourself so much, you think, right, I'm going to win, I'm going to do this.
Well, it's your life, isn't it?
It's your life, and they're never going to do it, But you can't tell them that. It's not, they wouldn't believe you anyway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But it's sad to see, there's no real support there of such. I think that it's coming better in this country now. I think John Kavanagh and Andy and a few of them are, the Irish Mixed Martial Arts Federation is on the go now. But Neil Seary, actually, I got lucky enough to train with Neil before in Team Rhino. I was only briefly in Team Rhino because that's when my injuries and all started. But I got to train with Neil. Serious pro, class pro. Neil's a real rocky story. People don't know Neil Seary, should check him out. Neil made it to the UFC and all, but Neil is a legend in Irish MMA. And Neil spoke after he retired from the UFC about there's nothing there when you retire. So footballers, I think, have a thing now. Where it's kind
of government assistance.
Yeah, or not even even an Irish federation assistance.
Yeah.
He said that's what people need to do. There needs to be some kind of support network there when people finish MMA, because a lot of the time you might finish with no money. Them highs of going and fighting in front of them crowd, I can only imagine. I never fought in front of the crowds Neil fought in front of. But imagine going from that high and winning at that high and the buzz of it, and then right, you're tired now.
Yeah,
I suppose in a lot of sports
out to pasture,
Yeah, so I think he's on a campaigner. He's doing something. He spoke about it anyway. I'm not going to try quote him out yet because I haven't got the details here. But he's campaigning, I think, for something to be done for when people retire. You know.
Yeah, no, fair play. Because another thing I think people miss out on, they see the likes of Neil Seary and they kind of look at him as though he's the success story. He's the guy that made it and now he's all right.
But Neil always worked. He never left his job.
Well, you see, that's it, because he fucking couldn't.
Yeah, Neil worked in a warehouse. Neil has about 20 kids.
As about 20 kids?
Yeah, I think Neil has 5 or 6 kids anyway. But yeah, he had his family support. He knew it wasn't forever.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like anyone that wants to make as a pro, yeah, Connor is a great example, and I'm not going to knock Connor. Connor's Connor. But if you really wanted to talk to a pro that was like realistically and knows the crack, I'd say Neil would be well worth a chat to anyone. I think that Mixed Martial Arts Federation of Ireland should nearly employ Neil to go around and talk to people in clubs.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
What you mean? Yeah,
and share his experience, because he knows what he's talking about. He's been on the whole side of it, and I think that now when the sport is young and growing in Ireland, these things should be put in place now and not wait till shit goes wrong. You know what I mean?
Of course, but it's mad to see how much it's come on in such a relatively short space of time, I suppose, in Ireland.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's class.
And as a massive fan of the sport, it's fucking class, isn't it? Like,
no, absolutely. Yeah,
it blows my mind. When I go to clubs now even and just watch, do you ever just watch training? Yeah. You're watching 12-year-olds doing fucking hurricane kicks. You're watching them doing fucking...
But it's mad. I would have trained with, there was I suppose the only thing you could have called him at the time was a mat rat. Dylan Shook.
I know Dylan, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Fucking gone on to do fantastic things, like.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's getting back in the win column now again. So
Absolutely. No,
another Rags for Richie story. People should check out Dylan. Yeah.
Big time. I must actually reach out to him to see if he'd come on. He'd be a great lad to chat to.
Gas, man.
But I remember when I was at it, I don't know, maybe a couple of years, and he'd been there, kind of, I think, on and off. He'd be around and then he wouldn't, because, like, he was only fucking... I don't know what age he was. He could have been only 13 or 14, like, in with, you know...
Yeah, he's only about, what now? Jesus, he's 18, is he? 19, maybe?
I don't know, but let's say he's
not 20, anyway.
He must be.
No, he couldn't be. He's very young. Dylan's still very young.
Well, sure, there you go. Like, so he could have been only fucking 13 or something when I was in my mid-20s, when I was training. And that's what I mean. He was a mat rat. He was fucking in and out, and, you know, he'd be there one week and he mightn't be the next. So at least that's my recollection of it, like, you know. And... But I remember looking at him as a child, essentially, at the time. And there he was, you know, fucking rear naked choking a fucking triangle and, you know, practicing his kicks and all that. And I remember looking at him thinking to myself, like, fucking hell, like, that's the future right there. Like, you know, that kind of way. Kids basically coming up. And even now, these days.
There's another one up in SPG now who trains with Dylan all them, Nate the Great. You ever heard of him?
Yes, of course, yeah, hilarious.
Great character. You think Connor's bad? Jeez, wait to see wait to see Connor 2.0. This chap is unreal.
Again, a different breed. Like, I mean, we're kind of old school at this stage, you know, that kind of way. But these lads nearly started when we started, but they were
doing
10.
Everything together. So. Like, I done a bit of box, I done a bit of karate, then I got into jiu-jitsu, then I tried to put it all together.
But you see, that's it. They're starting at age 8,
doing everything,
doing mixed martial arts.
You know what I mean? So they're dedicating a night a week to jiu-jitsu, they're dedicating a night a week to wrestling, they're doing their kickboxing, their Muay Thai, they're doing everything. Like, so they're versed in everything. Like, you know what I mean?
And they don't have the downside that, like, let's say if you have a stand-up. If you have a boxing background, let's say, you get put under pressure, even as a seasoned fighter, you're going to resort back to the kind of what you know, which is the boxing stance. And if you're against a wrestler, he's just going to fucking take you down.
Big
you know?
time, yeah. No, that'll all be gone soon. The funny thing about it all is, I don't know what you think, but I could talk about MMA all night. People will be bored out of shite, but it always comes to grappling, doesn't it?
Like the jiu-jitsu end of it or the wrestling end
any
of it?
Fight, so you watch street fighting, like, basically, any fighting at all. Like, I watch fighting all the time still. Like, when I'm lying in my bed at night, I'm watching jiu-jitsu videos, I'm watching incidents that happen on the street, I'm watching all kind. I'm just fascinated with fight. I always have been. I just I'm wired, I think. I don't know, but fascinated by people can control other people, or even more so the psychological things now, how people prevent things and all. But anyway, you watch it, right? So any fight that happens, they always get close, and they either fall on the ground if it's a street fight. Right, so they always get tangled up in each other and fall on the ground. 99% of the time. Or you watch MMA, so you have two really good strikers. They always get in the clinch, in the cage, there's a grappling situation. So,
well, look, no matter how even two guys are in the stand up, in the striking end of things, one of them's always going to be not better, but more on their game.
Or someone's going to land, and then you just think grab.
Yeah, well, that's it.
It's a natural instinct, isn't it?
Of course. And if someone has the upper hand on you on the feet, striking, what the fuck would you be doing staying there? You want to get that shit to the ground and figure it out there.
But I think where I was going with that was anyone that was interested in MMA, I think they didn't want to get hit in the face, and they should look at jiu-jitsu. I know you've been pushing people. I've been pushing people for years. You can't get a better sport for people to start that are genuinely interested in the sport that don't want to get hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if you're not into MMA and you're looking for something to try and you want to get into a martial art, I think jiu-jitsu for anyone, young, old, man, woman. It's the way forward, you know.
No, absolutely. And
get on to it quickly because it'll change your life.
No, big time, and it has for countless people. Like, and essentially, the podcast I had with Roger was an ad for fucking.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would like to hear Roger go more in depth, obviously, about his feelings with jiu-jitsu, and
I don't know.
He's not that type, you know, Roger.
I got found out to a certain degree with Roger. I felt like I interviewed Roger, which is something that I don't want to do.
Actually, as you said, I felt like it did feel a bit like an advertisement for him and jiu-jitsu as such.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind giving them the big.
I didn't get enough of Roger talking.
Yeah, and I didn't
deeply about his personal experience. Now, that's not your fault.
I know I would call that my fault.
I don't. But you're over in his gym, and you weren't like sitting here like this.
We'll put it this way: with the benefit of hindsight, if I was chatting to him, like, hopefully I'll get Andy Ryan on now soon.
Yeah.
And what I'll have in my arse pocket when I'm chatting to him is just 2 or 3 things. So if there's any kind of a lull in the conversation, I have something almost like a seatbelt to kind of jump back in. With Roger, he told his story. We went from back in the day to present day, and then there was a time when I kind of found myself saying I kind of asked him something to kind of keep the conversation going.
I would love more Marcelo stories. What happens?
Oh, of course. But sure, look, I was driving home. Fuck, why didn't I ask him this? Fuck, why didn't I? Fuck. Like, you know, I could have talked to the man for hours, but my inexperience at what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
Again, in hindsight, I would have had a couple of things that I could have pulled out of the bag just to stop that little gap, because that gap came the second time. And I just went, listen, Roger, it's been great having you on. And as I was saying that, I was kind of, I can't believe I'm fucking ending this. But look, it's a learning curve. Like,
he's a legend. I say some stories now.
But we'll get away from the MMA for a sec, because I want to talk to you about, we've talked about the different businesses that you've been involved in, and the different interests that you've been have had. What are you looking forward to? Like, what fucking is there a business idea that you've had in your head from day one that you never got a crack at?
I fucking shit ton of them.
Is there any standout ones, or?
You know, obviously I'm a carpenter. I'm doing carpentry as usual. You know, my bread and butter. It's a great one to fall back on. That's a great thing about having a trade, actually.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
No matter how times go or get bad, you can always pick up tools and work if you're willing to. You know.
Yeah.
I have a few ideas. Yeah, nothing I want to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Like.
I've always ideas, you know what I mean? I've loads. Like, a list of fucking go mad if you heard other ideas. I do, but I think I've learned a lot about business over the years. I've done a lot of business where there's huge investment needed at the start. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's huge collateral. Where I think you need a small business that can start organically and just develop itself as well, you know. I have a few ideas for different things, but like what you're doing is great.
With the growing business?
Yeah, like I had to put 150 grand in to start my last business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I'm doing now is great. I love it, but like it's small. It's I'm not looking to be a millionaire. Like, to be honest, things change when you go through business. Like, I used to think it was all about money. It was all about profit. It was all about everything. And don't get me wrong, we've done really well for a long time. It was great to have it, but then when it kind of goes away and you look at it, and I wasn't happy. Like, I fell out of love with what I was doing. The days were great when you start them up. Things get real busy. You forget why you were doing things. You move on to other things. Things get fucking manic, and you realise it wasn't what you were doing at the start. It's hard to describe. Hindsight is saying it's great, but looking back at it now, I'm not all about the money as such. When you say I like what I'm doing, it pays me bills and everything, but I think if I've other ideas, but they're not necessarily they're business based, but they're not profit based as such.
Yeah, I get that. I think
yeah, like I like to do something to help people.
More of a social enterprise, say.
Not even social enterprise, but helping people in some way with different ideas I have. You know. Yeah. I just think.
Well, I think in a way you're searching for fulfillment more so than profits. Now, granted, look, we all have to fucking earn a wage, and we all have.
You have to pay your bills.
Yeah, of course.
You don't want to be stupid about it. I'm not saying I'm going to sell everything tomorrow, and make a pair of sandals out of a bit of rubber tire and
save the world.
Yeah, no, but I think I want to get something out of it more so than I did. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, you're looking for fulfillment, kind of a purposeful type thing.
I want to enjoy it every day and see where it's going to go and see it helping others as such. Whereas it's easy to make money. I've always made money. I don't know why, right? I've always gone to work. I've always made money. I've always done well, and which is great. Don't get me wrong. It's fucking brilliant. But I don't know. There's something there. If I was to do something again, as you said, it'd have to be very mean. Like, I have small ideas, but it'd be mean. I want something, more meaningful. I want to feel like I'm making a difference.
Yeah. And do you think
know what I mean?
something's changed? Like, has parenthood or, becoming a dad changed you?
Lots of things changed. Like, yeah, well, becoming a dad changed me in loads of ways. You know what I mean? For the first and second time.
Yeah.
My father died recently as well.
That's right, yeah. Sorry to hear that, all right.
Oh, this shit happens, as you know.
Yeah.
But that changed you too. I was very close to my father. Yeah, and stuff comes back to the conversations you had, things you were doing. Like, my father always strived to get to retirement. Him and my mother had bought a retirement home. My mother was retired, my father was to retire
That's
soon.
right, yeah.
He never got to do it. They were only in the house less than a year and he died. Never got to enjoy retirement. So I think I'm looking for more than just striving to get to retirement. I don't want to work my life, save a ball of money and think, right, I'll retire now and have a good fucking time. I want something I enjoy doing all the time, every day. Not waiting to get to the magic number to retire and start. You know what I mean? I think there's more to life than that, you know?
No, absolutely. There's a lad I'm a big fan of. I don't know if you're familiar with him at all, Jordan Peterson.
Yes, I do. Sure, I listen to Jordan all the time.
He's completely obsessed basically with what he talks about.
Big time.
But he talks a lot about this idea of a trajectory, as opposed to wanting to, let's say, as your dad would have wanted to do. He had an end point. He wanted to retire, as he put it, and that was a point in time that he was kind of striving towards, or whatever else. But what Peterson's angle on is probably more what you're talking. It's not. There's no destination. It's your trajectory that matters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Once you're heading in the right direction, you'll do that endlessly,
in
a good way.
But
there's no this idea of striving to get to a destination point. I think is it's a flawed way of viewing the world. I think because and you often see it, like people will say,
you miss what's happening in the middle. You know what I mean?
You do, and you might say just like, all I want to do is fight and make me debut, and then I'll be grand. But you make your debut and then you have to go on to your next fight, and every fight that you have is your biggest fight ever. So if you're focusing on an end point all the time, it never really comes. Do you know that kind of way? So once your trajectory is right, you're kind of on a better path as such.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, definitely. But I think the whole retirement thing was, I don't know, it's a way of making money too for companies. You know what I mean? You're pumping this money into a fucking pension fund. You know what I mean?
It is, and even the idea of retiring, that's a social construct. Like that's what I would call on the lead.
Yeah, totally on the lead. Yeah,
that's kind of doing what people have always done before you, and it's impossible to.
No, always. It's only a recent enough thing too. I was reading something recently. I can't remember where I read it now, but they're on about the retirement process and the whole thing of getting to your pension. All that's not that old. Like some countries still don't have that. Like in Iceland, I was reading it in Iceland. They never retire, like you said. So they might have 4 careers in a lifetime.
Yeah.
So they take a career break. They might retrain in something else, and they come back, but. Basically, they spend their money, enjoy their time, and then they go make more money at something else that's different to keep it fresh, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not the whole time in this rut in the same job for 40 years waiting to retire. Like, you might do the job for 6 years, make a few quid, go on a fucking cruise, a holiday, do whatever you want.
Yeah,
and decide when you're doing that, right, fuck it, I'll train. And what else do I like? Right, I'll go and do that and train up and that and go and do that. And then you do that for another while and save a few quid again. Right, let's give it another year break. Go do something else. You know what I mean?
No, big time. And that whole mentality of like the name of the fucking movement or club or whatever the fuck it's going to turn into is getting away from that.
The Illuminati, this club. You see the shit I had to do to get in here.
Secret handshakes and the fucking whole lot.
Stuff.
But yeah, like just that whole mentality, the off the lead mentality, is just trying to. Dust off the fucking cobwebs of society.
Totally,
do you know that kind of way? This idea that you have to, get a degree and you have to get a job and you have to stay
scary
for
people,
40 years.
isn't that the thing? People are scared to be different. Like, and to be honest, it's not that much different. When you actually talk to other people, lots of people think like-minded, but lots of people don't want to do it. It's like they do want to do it, but they don't want to upset what they're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course, don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah, like there's ties to everything. Like, big example. That's like we're going to get into religion, right?
Uh-oh.
I'm not religious whatsoever. I'm not into any religion or anything, but obviously I didn't christen my children, right? And I talked to lots of my friends that never went to mass in their life, never anything to do with the church. They've done the confirmation, communion, all the rest, but
as kids,
yeah, and then they go and get married in the church, right? I never got married in the church either.
Yeah,
they go and they get married, and blah, blah, how to having kids, and they start christening them. I'm like, why did you christen your children if you don't go to mass? And because my mother, Jesus, my mother would go moon if I didn't christen my child. I said, what do you mean your mother would go moon? Oh Jesus, like I don't want to rock that. Like that's what we do. We just do it. Like that's the way it's done in my family. And oh Jesus, my wife's mother, fucking hell, if we didn't christen the children there'd be war. I was like, well no, like you actually influenced your children already by doing that. You know what I mean? You're christening them, they're into that thing.
You asked that same person, you know, what do they think of the Roman Catholic Church?
They tell you exactly. They have nothing to do with it. They hate it. But I'm just doing it to keep her happy. You know what I mean?
Fucking madness. They're indoctrinating their fucking innocent child into a horrendous cult.
And I've recently gone to, like, right, I don't believe in any of it, but I'll go out of respect to someone if they invite me to their child's christening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever. But you listen to the words now when you're at a christening. Like, I was recently at a christening, right? And I never noticed it before. The priest was talking whatever they talk about, and then at the start of the mass, he's talking to the parents of the child. And then, after the child is christened, he then says, now I can talk to my brothers and sisters, you're part of the church.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what, you wouldn't have talked to them before?
Yeah, they were less than.
Oh, but in space of 2 fucking minutes, because you dipped their head in a fucking bit of water, like.
Yeah.
So now you do your brother and your sister, but they weren't before. And it was all kind of, like, the way he was saying it, it's so well constructed, you have to give him that. It's a fucking show, like, isn't it? It's so good. All religions are, like, you know, but, geez, you have to give them props, like, the way they, even when I was at a funeral recently, right, I was at loads of funerals over Christmas, but it was fucking crazy Christmas for her, but I was at a funeral recently, and listening to the words, they're hitting people on the down at the worst.
Of course they are.
Fucking hitting them down, like, you know, and you're like, fucking hell. If people actually stand back and listen to what they're saying.
What they're saying and when they're saying it to you.
Yeah.
Like, you'll never see a priest round your house when you're fucking on top of the world.
No.
You're in the fucking depths of depression, or you've got fucking cancer, and all of a sudden they're knocking on the door, like.
Totally. It's very clever, like, you know. Very, very clever. Clever system, you know, you have to hand it to them. And that's the way it's always been, you know, but I think, as I was saying, but you were talking about people just not stepping off the lead. I think that's one example with the Christian thing, where people just stay on the lead just to keep other people happy, but really they don't want to be there.
Well, you see, there is look, sometimes you are going to piss people off. Sometimes your mother or your dad or whoever it is would really like you to christen your kid or whatever else, but you have to be fucking. You have to be true to yourself. Do you know that kind of way? Like, you have to. Yeah. You can't live your life by other people's kind of expectations. Well, sorry, no, you can. Of course you can, but you fucking shouldn't.
Yeah, but it'll hit you, bite you in the ass eventually. You know what I mean?
Of course it will. Of course it will. And sometimes you just have to. You have to do what's right. And like, my sister had a baby girl there recently, and I was honoured to be asked to be the godfather of my fucking niece, and I said no. Respectfully, you know, I told her I'd be there, fucking left, right, and centre for the kid.
You don't need the church to tell you that.
Exactly, but
yeah,
and that was kind of hard.
You couldn't
have
done it anyway, because as I was at that christening, to go to the godparent, the priest comes down to them in their seat when they're there, and they say, "Do you swear to bring?"
Of course they do, yeah.
And of course you're going to say, "Well, no."
Yeah, but I think
you should have done it just to see what would have happened, because I've never seen anyone say no to the priest at that.
It's funny that you say it. You're after reminding me of fucking jury duty that I was on there fucking last year, so whenever it was. I saw, it must have been, I don't know, 20 or 30 people swear on the Bible to tell the truth.
Yeah, it's bollocks.
Every single last fucking one of them.
Yeah, I'd swear on the Bible too if I'm up for something.
But these are the fucking jurors, like.
I know.
So you're, like, they had, let's say, 30 people, one after the other. Every single one of them signing the fucking Bible.
I know.
Or swore on the Bible to say that they were going to tell the truth.
None of them said
there's
I'm
no
not religious.
fucking way that they're all devout Catholics.
No, yeah.
So you're literally starting off court proceedings with a big fucking con job, essentially.
Totally,
a big lie,
and
a big falsehood.
Like. Do you even ask, is anyone any other religion?
No, the Bible comes out,
and
you know,
the Quran,
do you swear on the fucking whatever? No, and
yeah.
Listen, maybe they have it there if you fucking ask for it, but nobody asked for it. Like,
yeah,
do you know?
So I'm in Scientologist.
Listen, they'd have to have something, like, do you know, like, I know they can't just say, oh well, you're not fucking Catholic or you're not Christian, so you can't be on the jury. Having said that, you can't be president of this country unless you're a Catholic.
It's fucked up.
Maybe not a Catholic, but certainly a Christian.
Yeah, it's crazy. It doesn't make sense, you know. That's what's wrong with the country, you know. The church, you can go on, and I'm not going to bore people with the whole church.
No, we won't shit on the Catholic Church.
Like, I'm not religious whatsoever. Actually, I did a whole Jehovah's Witnesses at me door the other night.
Hilarious.
Yeah, see, that's the reaction. It's interesting you say it like that, because I gave them a chance for once.
Right, yeah.
Usually just fucking tell them to fuck off. Not like that, but politely.
I've never had them at the door. I'd love if they
you're right,
called
you're in the
when I was at a
middle of
loose
nowhere.
end.
To
Do
be
you
on
know
a
what I mean?
pilgrimage to come out this far, like. But knocked on my door, and a lad from Glasgow, and another young lad with him. He was a black lad. I think where did he tell me he was originally from? I think it was Nigeria, I think he said. But he's Irish, like his family are Nigerian. They moved to Ireland.
Yeah.
He's always lived in Ireland. But I opened the door, and usually me and Velissa have a deal, right? So if someone knocks at the door, like someone's selling something or religious like that or whatever, if I'm not back in a few minutes, ring my phone. You
Yeah,
know
of
what I
course.
mean, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, fuck, it's the president.
yeah. So I'm standing at the door. These Jehovah's Witnesses come in. They caught me at a good time. At a bit of time, I wasn't in a hurry or anything. And actually, the kids were in bed. It was great. They're having their midday nap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I had time to kill. Usually, I'd be like, "No, kids are going mad, get lost." But opened the door, and I was like, "Oh!" He starts to speak straight away. Very well rehearsed. I was very impressed. And I said, "That's lovely." And he's like, "Oh yeah, is he into it?" I said, "No, but it was very well done." I said, "I'm not religious. I'm not into Jehovah's Witness whatsoever." "Oh, what are you into?" I said, "I'm not into anything." "So you're a humanist?" I said, "No, I'm not a humanist." I said, "I told you, I'm not into anything." And he goes, "But you have to be into something." I said, I'm into different things, but I don't box myself into any category, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's
Don't pigeonhole yourself into something.
Yeah. So he said, "But you have to be something." I said, "I don't." I said, "I'm me."
Yeah.
I said, and I introduced myself to him then at that stage. I'm Kevin Booth. Like, what's your name? And then he told me his name and he told me their names. And I was like, oh no, like I said, you don't have to box yourself into anything. Think about it. Why would I box myself into one thing? He said, "Well, what do you believe in?" I said, "Well, you've done a big speech," as I said. And I said, "Well, you have to talk about hope. You have to talk about love."
Yeah.
They went on for like 5 minutes, to be honest, and I let him talk. And then I said, "You're talking about hope, you're talking about love, you're talking about lots of things there." I said, "I believe in all that."
Yeah, but they're not Jehovah's Witness things.
No,
Do you
but
know what I mean?
that's what I'm
They're-
saying.
yeah,
Like,
of course,
yeah.
yeah.
So I said, "I've other beliefs too, you know." And he's like, "Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, that's a good point." And we're there chatting, you know. And I said, he actually brought up something about I don't know why they brought it up actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, they brought up something about Muslim. Oh, I said like yeah, it's not for me, and I'm happy to being the way I am. And like he was asking me all questions about God, and I said, "You're still asking me questions that I don't believe in. Like, you know, you're missing the point. I'm not into that. Like, you know, I don't need to think that to feel good about myself. You know." And for whatever reason, it came up about Muslims, and they were on about Jehovah's Witnesses and the Bible, and then it came up about the Quran.
Yeah.
And I said, right. And he was just, I think he was naming different religions, and then he was on about, and then he mentioned something smart, not smart, but like, like sure, people think they're all terrorists now or something like that, you know, this kind of thing. And I said, "Well, I have to stop you there. What do people think of Jehovah's Witnesses in Ireland, do you think?" And he looked at me, he wasn't expecting it, and he goes to me, "What do you mean?" I said, "There's a massive stigma with being Jehovah's Witnesses in this country." He said, "People hate you knocking on the door." I said, "Well, you answer your door and you're here talking to me." I said, "Yeah, because I'm willing to see what you're all about." I said, "You're not going to convert me or turn me, but I said, I was willing to give you the opportunity to talk. I think you're nice people. I'm not going to just tell you to fuck off my door, like." But I said, it's not a great statement to say that all Muslims, for example, are going to come around and blow themselves up, you know. I said, the stigma that comes with you two. I said, "You're from Glasgow, number one. There's a stigma with Glasgow," you know. He's like, "What?" I said, "People know Glasgow was a rough kip," you know. And he's like, "What?" And I said, "I'm just turning the thing back."
It's not nice when it gets fucking, you should put the mirror up to them.
And then the other young lad said, "You're very fucking brave." And he's like, "What?" I said, "You're a Jehovah's Witness and you're black and you're knocking on people's door in Ireland." I said, "Fair fuck, you are a legend of a man," like, you know. And he's like, "Oh," they were laughing, like they took it in good form, but they got me point. But it goes to show you, like, they were willing to knock the other religions in order to try make theirs sound good, like, you know.
But that's the mad thing about, like, the organised religions, or should I say that the members of the organised religions, they see through everybody else's bullshit so clearly. Like they see how obvious a con job Catholicism is, and Islam, and Judaism, and fucking everything else. But they can't seem to see it in themselves. You know, that kind of way, they don't seem to see themselves as being lumped in kind of with all the rest of them. What's that? They can see the splinter in someone else's eye and not the plank in their own. I
was waiting for one of these all night. I've been listening to your you have loads of lines you love to say, and I hear them in all the podcasts, and I just went, "When will Fran hit me on tonight?"
There it is. I don't disappoint. Fuck, I think I've done 2 hours and I haven't dropped in an analogy yet.
I know.
That's a record. That's definitely a record.
I'm taking that record. I stopped them.
But
brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's mad. But as I said a few minutes ago, we won't get down to the
No,
business
we
of
could talk-
shitting on
We
religions.
could talk on it again.
But-
Actually, you had Ivor on the podcast, right?
Well, that's in a way what I was going to say.
All right, cool.
In relation to kind of spirituality, like, and again, I don't mean to kind of pluck on your heartstrings for want of a better term, but with your dad passing, like, would you you don't identify as, let's say, obviously any of the religions, but would you identify as an atheist even, or
No. See, like Ivor, I mean, have good chats. Ivor's great for the chats, as you know. He was on here and the whole lot. I was actually engaged to my sister. They're having a baby and all that, so I talk to Ivor quite regularly. It's pretty cool, like, because he's open to most things, you know. But I think Ivor's on saying that here. He doesn't knock any religion either.
no, God, no, not at all.
In fact, he nearly encouraged religion. And I was a great man for actually, like, I think is he reading the Quran at the minute or something?
Oh yeah, well, believe it, Jen.
You fucking read all of them, like, you know,
Yeah.
just understand.
And so right, you should, Jen.
Yeah, but if it's people are happy to do it, right, and they live their lives happily and they don't hurt anyone, and I'm all for religion. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not going to knock any religion, like, you know. I'm not going to knock atheists either. If you're an atheist, and you could be the nicest person in the world, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
But I wouldn't class myself as an atheist either, because what do I believe in is the thing, I suppose. People always ask me that, you know. I don't know what's next. No one does. But I know, right, I do. I think I mentioned it before, the meditation thing. When I was in the sauna at that time and the whole lot. So I restarted researching the holotropic stuff. Dr. Groff, I don't know if anyone knows him or whatever.
I'm not familiar with
So
him,
originally
no.
he pioneered in the psychotherapy with mushrooms and stuff.
What's his name?
Groff, Dr. Groff. Is it Groff? Grof?
Okay.
Yeah, it's Groff. Yeah, it is. And he's a founder in it, but it became illegal then to treat patients with mushrooms. I don't know if
Yes.
you remember that. He was the pioneer and all that. But he had then come up with different ways. I think I might have mentioned this before, did he? He had to come up with different ways then of obviously treating patients. So he came up with this holotropic deep breathing thing. So when I had that experience I had with my breathing, I started just looking around, researching things, and I came across it, and it sounded very familiar to what I had experienced. Now, again, I'm not all in holotropic breathing either, because a lot of people say it can take you back to experiencing being born, and like, obviously there's some kind of a higher state of consciousness, right? I believe that definitely. There's more, there's something out there we don't all know, we're never going to know, which is obviously probably the best thing, you know. But I had experienced something that night. Remember I saying it was just, I had the craziest experience, it was uplifting and all. But I started messing with the breathing thing and looking it up and everything and doing the meditation, and I loads of shit going on in my life, but I was able to look at myself in a way I never looked at myself before. Now, I suppose you have to start on yourself before you start on anything else, you know what I mean?
And sorry, when was this? When you were doing the holotropic breathing, or
Yeah,
okay.
doing the breathing. Now, they do it with music and stuff, but I don't. For some reason, I don't like meditating with music whatsoever. Like, I could be at a lake or river or going for a walk or lying
Wouldn't be
down.
typical to have music during meditation.
Holotropic
would
it is. They do
Okay.
this fucking music thing now. It just drives me mad and puts me off stuff. But
And the type of music, is it like, you know, drums and things,
no,
or
to be honest, yeah, there's drums and stuff, but it kind of comes to like a fucking big crescendo thing then as well, and you know what I mean? It's very
like an orchestra type thing?
yeah,
Or?
but it's meant to be taking you on this journey, and then it comes to big end and stuff. But I never got into the music part of it, so to be honest, I didn't fucking do anything with the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but then recently, believe it or not, I've been looking at workshops to go to, just because there's no point not knowing the whole thing. So I actually am going to do a workshop eventually in it. But you can basically, Dr. Off realised you can touch higher states of consciousness without mushrooms, which he specialised in, you know.
Yes.
And he tested all the patients, he's done all the tests, and he's proven that, well, obviously they don't know because they can only monitor your brain activity and all, you know what I mean? But they're hitting the same activity that they were hitting with the mushrooms, you know, that kind of way.
Right.
Now, I done the holotropic breathing, and as I said, I just had this thing where I just felt like I was looking at myself in my life. It's hard to describe. And I was able to subjectively look at myself. This would have been a few years ago now anyway.
Objectively, you mean?
Just, yeah, obviously objectively. Just looking at, right, all the things I'd done wrong, basically. It just came before me, like, that was fucking shit, that was shit, why did you do that, was shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just started throwing stuff at me. I won't go into obviously specifics, but it just brought all that into me, right? And then it kind of brought answers to me for why I done them things.
Clarity, like.
Clarity in a way that I've never seen before. And that kind of was happening that night as well. And since I've been doing it more, there's a piece in it, like, you know, like some people, I've reading people that do it and they write that they've seen this, they've, I don't know what, like they've all their own different experience. I'm not going to knock them, maybe they have. A lot of people talk about fucking going back to the birthing canal and coming out and all that. I've never had any of that, but there's always clarity comes after. There's always something. I can't put my hand on it. I can't describe it. I really can't.
And have you seen visuals?
No, see, I don't want to be tripping like that either. It's myself mostly. Not myself as such, me physical form, but my life playing out and just stuff that it's hard to describe. How to describe it? Like, just becoming at peace with stuff I've done, and then going forward, it's just like there's a sense of, right, this is going to be good. It's hard to describe.
No, I'm with you, because what you're talking about sounds to me very much like a psychedelic experience. Maybe
yeah,
not.
Well, I've done mushrooms, you know what I mean, when
Yeah.
I was younger. Now I'm adamant, I don't drink or anything anymore. I don't touch any substances whatsoever, and that was another reason what made me get into this, because this is my opinion now.
Each to their own.
Each to their own. I don't knock anyone, like I said, but either be into the other thing as well. But I believe if you take a substance, be it natural or any other substance, you are altering your state, chemically imbalanced in some way. You know what I mean? Like, you're taking, if you take mushrooms, you're taking
psilocybin. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, like, there's natural things occur in your body. Like, if you take testosterone, if you're training, like, you're taking extra testosterone and stuff. But I believe you don't necessarily have to take anything to reach the same kind of highs. I think there has to be a natural way of doing it. Not that it has to be, but you don't have to always take something to experience something. You know what I mean?
No, but there are kind of what I would call legitimate shortcuts. So you didn't cycle out here.
No.
Do you know, like, I know you fucking drove.
Floated.
Huh? But you know what I mean? Like,
no, I know what you
like
mean. There is legitimate. No, and that's why I say I wouldn't knock mushrooms. No, I wouldn't knock anything. But for me, I didn't want to go down that road. I just feel like, I'll never drink again ever. I'll never take drugs again. Like, I even try not to take anything if I'm sick or anything. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't. It's not as if, like, I'm trying to self-heal or I'm a healer or anything. None of that shit. But I just feel like there has to be another way than putting something into your body all the time. You know, that's just me now.
But again, the pharmaceutical or the pharmacological route to cure all that ails you, that's a real on the lead type thing to do. Do you know what I mean? That's just doing what's basically been shoved down your fucking throat.
Yeah.
Like.
So look, we can see the benefits of that in America at the minute, can't we?
Yeah, of course,
you know
worldwide, absolutely. And I'm all for alternative medicine. Has a bad sound to it. But let's say practices that have been used for generations.
Oh, no, I totally.
And centuries.
Definitely,
basically.
I'm all for them as well, but not for me.
On the holotropic breathing, though, when you get those kind of moments of clarity, say,
that's exactly
how long are you doing the breathing in order for that to happen? Like, does this happen after like 4 hours or 10 minutes or what? Like,
it can be different every time.
But like roughly, like, what's the shortest and the longest it's taken you to achieve that? Say.
2 hours.
Being what, the longest or the shortest?
The longest, 2 hours.
Okay, and what about the shortest?
2 to 3 hours. Shortest depends. 30 minutes.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Presumably, if you're kind of doing it regularly and you're in the habit of doing it and you're getting into it, or
it depends how you start. Now, I know it sounds weird, but it depends what mind you're in.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Starting it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could have a really shitty fucking day, stress out your mind, and you have to clear your mind to anything like that. So if you can't let go of something, you're just kind of sitting there breathing. You know what I mean? You can't. You need to release everything, open up your mind, and just let go, which is very hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
With anything, like.
Did you find that inspiring? Did you got a touch of that?
Not inspiring. I tell you what, I used to experience in fighting and sparring, as I said, it used to be the slow motion thing. I don't know if you've experienced that.
Not really, no. I've heard people say that, but no, I never got a touch of that at all.
I used to sometimes, when I felt really good, I'd be seeing things. They're obviously happening in real time, but to me they're not.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
And I've had that a few times. I've had that in other things where I've seen accidents happen, believe it or not.
I have had. There was a bad car crash at the Maxwell when I was walking, and I felt like I could have ran out, opened the door, taken the people out of the car, closed the door, brought them to safety, and then the car had fucking smashed.
Why didn't you, bollocks?
I know, but that's how it felt in that moment.
It's mad, isn't it? It's crazy,
it is crazy.
Yeah. Or if stuff ever happened
that's
to you.
a heightened awareness, I presume.
Yeah, but But why? How is it happening?
Fuck knows.
You know, obviously there has to be releasing some kind of chemical in your body, or something's happening in order for, you know what I mean? For you to,
But you see, I think that's where the drugs come in. I think that's.
Oh, totally. I'm not saying it doesn't.
No, of course,
Yeah.
you're not saying that they don't work because
I
they
definitely,
fucking
I'm not
clearly
knocking
do
them
work.
at all.
Yes,
Yeah, Jesus
yes,
Christ,
of
I'm not.
course.
That's what I'm saying before. But for me, I wanted to find another route.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Don't ask me why. It's just because
You've been fucking different. You can't.
No, don't get me wrong. I fucking grew up in the 90s, and
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, height of the boom too. You know.
we've always been there. Like I'm not a fucking saint by any stretch of the imagination. I've tried most things, you know, but never really stuck with me. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
even the smoke, I never got into cannabis. I never got stuck to anything as such. You know what I mean? And I was always looking for something that I could do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, you personally. Yeah,
Yeah,
of
me
course.
personally, I've experienced mushrooms, obviously. No, not the way probably like you were talking about now. I had some terrible experiences, just fucking milling my face.
Yeah,
full of
well,
mushrooms.
you're set and setting, as they say.
Yeah,
wouldn't
you were
have been
fucking
quite
17 or
right.
18, and you were just fucking milling them into you on Halloween night and fucking go moon. You know what I mean? We've all been that soldier, but yeah, there's definitely ways, and I'm sure there is benefits of way of doing it and shortcuts in it. But for me, I didn't want to go that route. I think the mind is so powerful that we just haven't used it enough. You know what I mean? We don't.
No, I'd be inclined to
And you
agree.
still are using it doing that way. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think we should be able to tap our minds ourselves. You know, does that make sense?
No, of course. We'll put it this way. Right? I go running every day, and for me personally, the type of music that I listen to, it's intense stuff. It makes the hairs in the back of my neck at least fucking
Yeah.
stand up. And
Celine Dion
when
and
I'm
Britney Spears. And
yeah, all that good stuff. But when I'm fucking steaming up a hill and it's pitch black and I've my fucking headlamp on and I've the fucking tunes in my ear and it's like da, 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 and I'm fucking pumping and I'm driving up the fucking hill, like that's nothing short of a fucking spiritual experience. Like
totally.
the feeling of that when you hit that, like runners call it runner's high. I don't know if I'm experiencing what people relate to as runner's high.
I've
I
totally
presume I am.
experienced that. Yeah, definitely.
And that adrenaline rush when you're in a fight, or maybe when you come to the scene of a crash, or whatever it is, or maybe it's a scene in a movie. Maybe fucking Rocky does it for you. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
you don't need the fucking drugs.
It's a
to
natural high.
Feel that natural high.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't see why you can't sit down quietly by yourself, and whether you do it over time or what, but basically pump those same chemicals.
Yeah, well, the thing you asked me earlier on about the weight cutting, and it's only when I look into it more and more over the last while, fasting and breathing together. You need to try it. Like, it's fucking amazing. Like, I think what happened to me doing that weight cut was the fasting, number one,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, without realising, the breathing, they work together. And it's only when you get into it you realise that's the format. That's what you should be doing. You know.
Well, that makes sense to me in a way. The fasting bit I get, because I think, especially with the kind of modern Western diet, we've numbed our senses, I think. And we've numbed our experience. Because I find it with cannabis, if I could smoke a big fat joint all to myself if I'm just after having a big meal and I barely feel the effects of it. But even if I'm hungry and I have a wine of a joint, it's like, ooh, maybe put that down for later. I can feel it that bit more. So if you extrapolate that to practically having eaten very little for a week, and maybe do some, whether it's holotropic breathing or something else, it seems to kind of intensify it.
Fasting definitely does, yeah.
Do you know
Fasting's powerful.
Wim Hof?
I know Wim Hof. I'm reading his book.
Is that holotropic
Tom of the
breathing?
Iceman.
Yes, is that holotropic
He's
breathing?
doing Tummo.
What's Tummo?
So
Or what's the difference? Because I don't know what either
it
is
is
really.
different. Wim Hof does breathing, but he does a form of holotropic breathing. But holotropic breathing is Dr. Groff's thing, and it's trademarked and all. He invented it, right? Wim Hof does his own type of breathing.
The Wim Hof method, I think he calls it.
Yeah,
Is it?
some people call everything holotropic breathing. It's not. That's just the one that Dr. Groff invented.
Okay.
Right? And he trademarked it, and it's his thing, right? But there's other types of breathing, and sometimes it'd be like, I don't know, what would you say, the way everyone calls, fucking roof windows, Velux windows, for example. Just
Yeah, or smartphones, iPhones.
or iPhones, right? They just call them all the one thing.
Yeah.
Some people just call everything holotropic breathing, but it's not, right? So Wim Hof does his own type of breathing, right? But he does a form of Tummo as well. So Tummo, did you ever see the lads sitting in the ice? So the Rain Break World Records are sitting in the fucking ice.
Yeah.
But they're stationary,
Yes.
right? So a lot of them monks and all do it. But they're stationary and they're not moving. So the amazing thing about Wim Hof is he can, as he went Mount Everest in
Run a
shorts,
marathon
man, right?
and all
He
that
ran
jazz.
marathons
Yeah,
in
yeah.
fucking Lapland.
Yeah, in his boxers.
Yeah, in his boxers. He can fucking swim under ice. He fucking come up
Yeah, just to give
so many meters.
people an idea, Wim Hof. There's one thing that I love. There's one record. He's a world record, which is my favorite. He is the world record for having the most world records.
Yeah.
That's how fucking cool is that? Like,
Yeah, he's
so
a cool
look
dude.
that man up. Like Wim,
Yeah,
was it WIMHOFF?
That's it.
Yeah,
Wim Hof, yeah. Becoming the Iceman, if you want to check it out.
that's his book, is it?
That's a book, yeah. One of, but fucking some read. So Wim Hof, right? So he believes he can get anyone to do this stuff as well.
Yes.
I'm only getting to that now, but he believes you can condition the body to do anything. Like, so the stuff he does. So he conditioned himself to the cold, you know.
Yes.
So anyway, get back to the tummo thing. So the tummo thing, you're sitting there, and you're in the cold. You can keep your core rate hot.
Yeah.
So you can condition yourself to stay in that cold now, you know. So it's a kind of like a form of like meditation, you know what I mean? So when you feel a body part going cold, they're able to isolate that body part. Say if you feel your kidneys or livers going cold, they focus on them and they warm up again. And they've proven this with tests and everything.
Yeah, Wim Hof has been through the mill scientifically.
They went through every scientific experiment. One scientist, actually, I forget his name, he's very famous, but he seemingly was done Wim Hof, had these experiments in his lab, stayed there, lab, took all his bloods and everything, and it was taken, I think it was 3 days for the results to come back. And seemingly people that were with this scientist when he got the results, he'd never he was jumping up and down. This fella's meant to be as calm as they come. He was fucking ecstatic. They're like, what's the story? He's like, I've never seen that like this before. This man
banging the top of his instruments. Does this fucking thing work or what? Like,
it's funny because when he done one of the experiments, they went through 3 different heart rate monitors.
okay.
So to piss Wim Hof done a little trick with them. So he done an exercise when he was getting experimented on. They're experimenting on with the cold thing, you know. But
Yeah.
he decided to slow his heart rate down. So or his breathing. Sorry, it was his breathing. It wasn't his heart. So he stopped breathing for 2 minutes 30 seconds.
Right.
Just for the crack. So it was the respiratory thing. Actually, it wasn't a heart rate monitor they changed. They changed the oxygen thing. So they're measuring the levels of acidity in his oxygen to see how he's doing all this stuff. But so he kept fucking with him. So he'd be holding his breath for like 2 minutes 30 and really long periods of time. And the machines then were saying he's dead. Like, no, the thing beep.
He's flatlying.
Yeah, he's flatlining and he's sitting there smiling at them, like, you know. So he's incredible. Like, but yeah, he's very interested in the fact that he believes like. He's like yourself. He's open to everything.
Yeah, very much so.
He won't knock anything, and he'll take the holotropic breathing he does is his own style. A bit like what I found mine by mistake. He found the thing that works for him, and he's kept it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So people look and say, "Oh, well, that's derived from that," but it isn't. It's similar. It obviously works on both things because it's doing the same effect, but he does it his own way. You know, he does it in his own head. He does it on the run. He can run. As I said, he went up Mount Everest in a pair of fucking shorts.
Yeah, he ran a marathon inside the Arctic Circle.
Yeah,
and all sorts
twice. Broke all kinds of records, but he's able to. The way he describes it, so he feels a cold spot coming, and he can focus everything in that cold spot and warm it up again. You know,
Yeah.
it's incredible. Like,
Again, that's just a higher state of awareness because we do, as warm-blooded mammals, we can regulate our body temperature. That's
Totally.
That's what mammals do.
totally, yeah.
And like you taking control over that consciously isn't that much of a stretch.
Not really.
Like, you know?
No, but to do it at the level, what's fascinating, everyone finds fascinating about Wim Hof is the fact that he does it on the move. So most people are stationary when they do this.
And they're concentrating on
focused
it.
and they're in meditation.
Yes, they're in a trance almost.
They're in a trance. So yeah, but he does it running marathons in the snow in his fucking shorts. It's crazy, like it's some read. You should check it out. The Iceman, Becoming the Iceman. Well worth it. There's lots of other stuff in there that I'm probably not even think of now, but there's so many lessons in that to be learned, and the breathing is one of them. Yeah, the other thing, conditioning yourself. So he'd be saying, actually, in that book, he's a student in it. That was fascinated by him, and he used to email him saying, "I want to become an Iceman as well."
Yeah,
and it follows both stories. So it follows what Wim Hof's doing in his life, and it also follows in the background the story of that student emailing him and trying to become the Iceman. And in the end, Hof teaches him how to do exactly what he does. So he's a lad doing it as well. So he done it with him to prove anyone can do this.
He's worked with a couple of fighters now, just thinking out loud, has he? Did he work with the fucking... Your man who used to come out in the Pride days with the hammer, I can never think of his fucking name.
Overeem?
Yes. Does he work with Overeem? Or am I mixing him up with someone else?
Someone's done a lot of work with that fucker. It's hard to believe he was ever welterweight, isn't it?
Jesus, yeah, fuck me.
Fucking hell. Chucked it out by him at middleweight.
Did he, yeah?
Yeah,
I'll be useless for remembering names.
So that's what's going on with
dates
MMA again. But yeah, he might have worked over him, and yeah.
But look, we won't go down the Overeem rabbit hole.
Yeah, but he might be working with them kind of people. I wouldn't be surprised, because if you're not working with him and you have access to him, Jesus Christ, I'd fucking take it. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry, if you're not working with...
If someone could work with him and they're not...
I think he's open to...
Oh, he's open to everything, man.
Yeah, he
he's
is, yeah. Very much so that way inclined.
That's what people are saying, like, email him and emails you back, like, you know what I mean? He's just open to everything, yeah.
Yeah,
He sets these challenges for himself. He makes things up, like, on the spot nearly. He might have climbed Everest there. He didn't get to the summit. He actually got frostbite, believe it or not.
No way.
Yeah, he reckons there was a lack of oxygen. He went too fast.
Right.
See, he can't do things slow either. So he done Kilimanjaro in shorts too.
Yeah.
But
he's helped a load of... Like, he's brought, like, fucking 80-year-old men who've never walked up a set of stairs up to the top of Kilimanjaro. He's done crazy stuff like that.
But what he done was, he can't go at a slow pace.
Right.
So the way he works is, if he tries to hold himself back, it doesn't work. So the way he's failed at doing things, this is what he was describing as, right, he's trying to work at your pace and do what your body's trying to do when he should be doing what his is trying to do. So he got this frostbite because I think he, as he described, as lost concentration. He slowed his pace down for doing something, and he didn't focus on the body fully, and then he got frostbite in his left foot or something doing this challenge. So he reckons because he learned from that then that he has to fully 100% all the time focus this meditation, this breathing, this Wim Hof method on himself all the time. He can't lack. So he had a couple of times where one time he was showing off or something in a marathon, and he started talking to the press
while he was running, and he started feet started to get cold again and freeze up, and he struggled to the end. You know what I mean? So it happened to him twice or something, he was saying, and he never let it happen. He has to be fully in the moment all the time, fully concentrate, and not lose focus, basically, you know. And does he talk about kind of religion or spirituality or anything like that, or like, is he religious? Or
he's not so much religious. He believes in a higher state of consciousness, all right.
Yeah. But again, and you see that belief in a higher state of consciousness, that's been around, or seems to be around, forever. Like, it seems to be ubiquitous amongst all cultures. Cultures that have been isolated from each other for fucking thousands and thousands of years, and organised religions are essentially a parasite on that. Yeah, like, we all have the same stories, like.
It's a bit like we do, yeah, definitely. But he speaks of this one thing I found interesting, was he was with some tribe, and like, he just goes in these mad fucking things. He'll just decide something and he's gone, like. But he went and met this tribe, and they were, what did he tell me? They were herders or something, anyway. They were nomadic or whatever. But they used to be able to, he was talking to an elder man, and they used to be able to communicate via phones.
Okay.
So
telepathically, is that what they call it? Yeah.
So if someone was out miles away with cattle and I was back at the huts, they were still able to get messages, and they were reading them. And
just not on their phones.
Yeah. And the elder, and then obviously it's been starting to be, even within tribes, that's starting to get lost with different influences and stuff. They were telling them, like, so he just touches on it, basically saying, like, after talking to the man, he can see how that happens and stuff like that, you know. So,
yeah.
But it's just an interesting little side story on his travels, like, you know.
But there seems to be a great resurgence in, I suppose, spirituality, you'd call it.
Massively, yeah.
And
there's no harm, like, as I said, for anyone into anything. Don't just settle for the norm. Don't settle for what's been pushed down your throat, like you said. Find out yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Don't get born and say, right, you're a Catholic. Right, cool, I'm a Catholic.
Here's another little saying, because I haven't put in enough of them in this podcast. In an age of information, ignorance is a choice.
True, yeah.
I love that.
There's loads
really
of them. You
love
love Hoss book. He's loads of them like that in the book too, you know. But I'm crap at remembering them. That's my problem. I often read them and like, that is fucking brilliant. I'm going to use that one.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. You know what I mean?
Look, I can remember shit like that, but I fucking struggle to remember your name or my own name or dates.
Don't get me on names.
Else.
I have to actually apologise to anyone's name. I'm terrible with names. I even forget my own child's name sometimes. You know?
Don't let herself hear you say that. I hope she's not going to listen to this.
That's terrible. It's terrible. I'm terrible, and she knows.
But look, we all have our fucking strengths and weaknesses. Like, do you know what I mean? We're good at some things. And
she'd be giving out to me. She'd be like, "It's just your laziness." I'm like, "What? You're fucking lazy." If you want to remember that name, you could remember that. You can remember this.
You don't think it is, though, do you?
I don't know what it is. It's one thing I have actually, his names. It's fucking crazy. I worked with a lad for a week one time. I kept forgetting his name. It's fucking mad.
Yeah, no, I'd be terrible with names, but brilliant with other stuff.
But is it because someone just tells your name, right? That's your name. and then you just go on to the next.
I suppose it depends on a lot of things, but like I wouldn't be great with, let's say, numbers. So one of the previous guests that I had on was a cousin of mine, Des Seepersod, and he'd be fantastic with numbers. He's numbers focused. He probably got an A+ in fucking honours maths and the leaving or whatever else. But let's say if you were to ask me to add 109 and 9,
Yeah.
I'd go, okay, right, 100. 9 and 9 is 18.
Yeah.
So it's 118.
Yeah.
But he'd just go 118.
Yeah.
And that's just the way he's wired. He can just jump to that.
I'm not the best at numbers now myself either, to be honest, which is mad being a carpenter, you know. Like, I was terrible in school at the maths, and then algebra was non-existent to me, and then started becoming a carpenter, and roofing is all algebra.
Really?
Total, it's algebra.
Oh, and angles for fucking...
Angles, discovering the width of the raft, the length of the raft, or the height, everything. It's all algebra. And I just never understood algebra. And then when I started working at it and learning roofing, it all made sense to me. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember hearing a story when I was in primary school about a lad. This is just some fucking waffle the teacher told us, but he was explaining to us that he had a student who couldn't add, basically. He was just that bad at maths, like just couldn't add. In 6th class, he just couldn't add. But he was a hard-working young lad, and he had a milk run. And you could tell him that you needed 3 bottles for this house, and 6 bottles for this house, and 10 bottles from this house, and the next house was half price, and this, and this. And boom, just like that, he'd have the answer for you. But he couldn't, you know, he needed something tangible. He needed to be taught maths in bottles of milk, and you were the same with algebra.
That's
you
mad,
needed to be taught the tangible, physical thing.
Yeah, see it physically, yeah.
Like, we're all the same, but we all have our strengths and weaknesses. Like, some of us are fast runners, some of us are fucking weightlifters, some of us can fight, some of us can fucking do all sorts. And I think intellectually we're the same. Some of us can, you know, do maths in our head, but some of us...
Do you think you could be taught to do maths in your head if you really got taught properly?
I think you can be taught to do anything.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say that, yeah.
I also think that you are kind of biologically predisposed to doing certain things better.
Do you think if you had been a kid now when you were younger and someone had an interest in maths and rubbed off on you more, would you be good at maths now?
It depends, because this...
Do you think you're born bad at maths?
You certainly can be, I think.
Yeah.
And it gets back to this kind of nature-nurture debate. And I don't know what the scientific consensus is, but I'm happy enough to just have it in my head that it's about 50-50.
Right.
Because some people... It's like we all have the same brains, the same way we all have the same bodies. Mm-hmm. So, like, we all have 2 legs and 2 arms and an arse and a torso and a neck and a head.
If we're lucky, yeah.
But yeah, of course. But some of us are 8'4" and some of us are fucking 4 foot nothing.
Yeah.
And our brains, I think, are the same. Some of us are predisposed to the mental equivalent of running the 100 meters really fast, and some of us are predisposed to the mental equivalent of running a marathon really fast.
Yeah, you're wired in that way. Yeah, well, genetics is what you're talking about, really. There.
Oh no, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Now there is a certain amount of nurture. Let's say
it can be mental
nature.
as well as a physical genetic thing. So you could be
mentally.
No,
100%,
yeah,
100%. Like, if your fucking prefrontal cortex is, let's say, the equivalent of long, like your legs are long, you know, you're going to be better predisposed to doing the mental equivalent of basketball.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we all have the same brains, but only in the sense that we have the same bodies.
Yeah.
So we're predisposed to being better at certain things than others, and that's the fucking crippling thing about our education system.
Oh yeah,
it's geared as though we're all the same.
Yeah, well, here's the same for you. You ready for this
Go
one?
for
now?
it.
So you wouldn't teach a bird how to swim, you wouldn't teach a fish how to fly, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, no, absolutely. 100%.
That's the problem with the school system, isn't it, really?
Yeah, no, and it's a shame, and how many fucking geniuses in their own right, you know, are classes being stupid. I heard another good one recently, was Neil deGrasse Tyson I was listening to, and he was saying that, imagine you have a spelling contest, or a spelling bee, I think as they call them, and you get a kid up and you go, right, spell the word cat, and he goes CAT, and you go, boom, fucking 100% into the winners section. The next lad comes up and he goes KAT. You shake your head, into the losers corner. Next guy, how do you spell cat?
Yeah.
ZY4 into the loser corner with the other loser. But like, one was a hell of a lot better than the other, but because they didn't get the textbook answer, you know, it's not right.
Yeah.
The other example he gave was, you're interviewing for a job and you throw a curveball at the interviewee, and you say, what height is this building? And your man goes, well, I studied architecture and I know all the heights of all the main buildings. It's fucking 200 feet tall. Boom, perfect answer. Next guy comes in, you ask him, what's the height of the building? He's like, oh, Jesus, haven't a clue. Hang on a second. And he goes outside, he measures the length of his own shadow, and then he measures the length of the building, and he knows what height he is. So he does a bit of back of the napkin maths, and he comes back and he goes, the building's probably about, I don't know, 200 to 210 feet tall. No, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But who'd be the better person to hire? The guy who got the answer nearly right and figured it out? Or the guy who just has a brain for remembering shit?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? I just thought there were two great examples.
Depends on what task you're going to set them to.
Well, you see,
it?
that's it, like, you know. And that's the killing thing about the education system
is totally flawed. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not looking forward to my kids going through it. It's
yeah, and another friend of mine was telling me recently that he was very happy with his kids' education up until they started having to do the entrance test.
Yeah.
Because then the education
boxing in straight away though.
Pretty much, yeah. Up until that they were trying to teach the kids. They were trying to get the kid to learn, for the kid to be wiser, for him to be more informed. But as soon as the entrance test was around the corner, it was getting the right answer to questions.
Yeah.
So with Irish in particular, he was being taught, see these words in the question? Well, if you can find them in the paragraph, you know that's the answers in there. Like.
Yeah.
And this idea of educating kids to pass tests as opposed to teaching kids how to educate themselves, which is what you said at the outset of this fucking podcast. We live in an age where you can do that. Like.
You can do whatever you want, yeah, definitely.
But
that's what it's all about.
No,
absolutely. Get off the lead, as you said, and get out there and figure shit out for yourself. Don't take and question everything. That's one thing I do to my detriment sometimes, pisses people off, but question everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know, I always say that. Don't take anything for gospel. But you know what I mean? Even if it's right, there's always another way too, you know.
But when you look at the amount of things that have been kind of overturned in the last, 10, 20 years, or even more recently, like new scientific discoveries have been made every day that's just laying to waste hundreds, if not thousands.
That's the best they had at the time, so people went to it, and then some new evidence comes up, and it's like, oh shit, we were wrong. You know what I mean? So you can't take anything. Anything can change anytime. I always think that anyway, you know.
No, big time. But
definitely.
Here's another one for you. Imagine you were able to listen to a conversation like the one we're after having when you were, 12. How much more, and you were listening to them regularly. Let's say you're a fan of Rogan's podcast, are you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I listen to Joe a lot. Yeah.
But listen, put it this way: all the different types of podcasts that you've learned from over the last couple of years, it's a relatively new thing. Imagine you had access to them when you were fucking.
Well, 10, what I did have access to when I was young. We were massive readers in our house. Fair play to my mother and father for that. You know, I used to love the Reader's Digest.
What? I'm not even sure what the Reader's Digest is.
It was a magazine that my mother used to order. It came, I think, it was every 2 weeks.
Right.
And it was just full of random shit every 2 weeks, and stories and stuff that probably wasn't meant to be reading, probably, or whatever, 11, 12, 13. But we used to kill each other in the house to see who was going to get it first. Like, just all random stories. New information, questions, everything. Oh, it was just random. There was everything going on in it, you know. And there was problems page, there was this page, there was question, everything. And I used to fucking love it. It was just so diverse. And we used to read that regularly. We would encourage it, like, you know.
But you see, there was a real beauty in that, in the limited amount of knowledge that you had. Do you know that kind of way? Because you didn't know what was in it and you couldn't wait to read it. But the internet is nearly the opposite of that. Yeah. There's everything you could possibly ever want to listen to.
But what do you want to look at? Tons of it. It's nearly too much sometimes for some people.
In a way, big time. But I think people are getting better at being a bit more selective of who they're listening to and kind of checking their sources. And
but do listen to one thing drives me mad now about people and the internet, and even myself. Like, I know I've talked about William Hoff, I talked about Dr. Grohl, other people there. Don't just take me talking about something, or whoever you listen to on a podcast. Don't take that for gospel. Because I talk to people like, well, I listened to that on such and such podcast, so it's fucking right. That's it. There's no other.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, it can be there can be something different there. You know, you don't have to take that for gospel. Oh no, but such and like Joe Rogan said it.
Yeah. So it can't be wrong.
If Joe Rogan said it. I like Joe Rogan. Don't get me wrong, but just because he says something doesn't mean I'm going to not question it or take it for gospel. He might be right. Happy days if he is, but don't just say right because he said it. It's right.
No, big time.
Not everything everyone ever says is right.
And even the experts that he's in, experts in air quotes, like they might be the leaders.
As you said,
in their
there could be
field.
some scientists in there, and next year they might come out with something new, and that scientist was wrong. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
But people, I always get that. I talk to people this podcast, listen to such and such, and then they're debating stuff with you that they're like, well, yeah, you're debating, but you don't know that. You only heard someone else talking. What research have you done?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I know he's done all the research, but you're diluting his research and giving that shit to me without, you know what I mean?
But at least that person can say that they're, at least they can say Joe Rogan said it. The one thing that fucking kills me even more is when they said, oh, I read it online.
Oh man.
And you're just like fucking,
Yeah.
fucking bite down on your fucking gum shield
I read that
again.
online,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
I read a fucking Google ad that popped up on the side of my page online, doesn't mean that's right.
Of course, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Or it's in the newspaper. Or in a book.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sick, yeah.
But, brother, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've just done what are we on? Just over the 3-hour mark.
No way. Jesus.
I'll have you on again. I want you on the next time I have you on. I want to talk to you about your new venture, because I don't know. I have a feeling that you're going to fucking start some fucking thing or do some fucking.
Call it Off the Lead. It's a new movement.
Well, look, you're fucking part of it now, immortalised in fucking podcast form, for fucking good or bad.
Along with being tapped out in all the other MMA videos and
yeah, exactly. Yeah. What? So Kevin Booth, Clan Wars,
I'll
will
just
pull
type
you
in
up.
Kevin Booth, getting the shit kicked out of him, you'll see it everywhere.
Listen, man, it's an absolute pleasure.
My pleasure. I loved it. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, brother.
Nice one, man.